What up? What up? I'm just getting on right now, so don't overwhelm me. um, y'all, I've been sick for like 2 weeks, and it's been tough trying to balance my crazy life. I don't know how busy you guys have been, but I'm really struggling as far as like mentally on a day-to-day basis because I'm battling a cold. I don't know if I have had the COVID for the past 2 weeks, but it did feel like it. If it was, instead of going crazy and going to the hospital, I just do what I usually do every year. I usually get sick almost every time when the seasons change here in Connecticut. So I took over counter jugs, and guess what? Yes, it's taken me a little bit to recover, but I have to say I'm starting to feel better. I just now have some congestion. The thick mucus is now gone. Could this have been the Omicron or whatever it is? Maybe. I don't know. But I wasn't scared about being sick. Like I said, I just feel like this has been a really extreme, serious cold. It was horrible, to say the least. In the beginning, it was achy. My chest felt tight. It was hard to breathe. And I don't know what to tell you. At one point, I did feel probably with like maybe 5 days into it, I was like, dang, do I have the Omicron? Because like I can't breathe, and it felt very respiratory. What did you say, Rob? Underscore 69, you said turmeric helps a ton. Can you please explain to me how to eat turmeric? A lot of people say turmeric is so good for you, but what do I do? Take a spoon and just eat the yellow sand. What'd you say, Bird 8019? Ivermectin works. Can you tell me how to get ivermectin, please? I'm not really familiar with it. You know, I'm a leftist. I'm African American, and from my studies, I just don't trust the government yet. I'm sorry. I am vaccinated with every other vaccine because of my parents. You know, you usually get your vaccine when you're young, but I haven't. I just want nothing to do with the government being intertwined with big pharma. Like I said, I'm not here to talk about being pro-vax or non. I'm not here to talk and debate if it's right or wrong, because honestly, I don't think it's right or wrong. I really think it's a preference. Right? It's a layer of protection. And I love that our President Joe Biden gives us the option, right? Although some, employers are mandating it per maybe, the big White House. I don't know, the Congress. I don't know who's doing these mandates. I know in New York, it's been freaking crazy. I just saw a video of a whole bunch of people getting arrested for going into a restaurant not being vaccinated. Then I'm watching my news today, and our governor Ned here in Connecticut was doing a whole presentation as if we work for the government. I felt like an employee of the state, and I was watching this mandated meeting by our governor here, Ned. What's his last name? Lamont. Yeah, that's right. Does anybody else do that? Do you ever talk to yourself? Ned Lamont, I think is his name. What are you guys saying? Liberal cities are arresting people. Duh. I really just do not conceptualize why people box these cities into a leftist or right wing power. I don't get it. If anybody is politically inclined, please, the line is open. You guys can come here and explain to me why people think that a whole town or city or state is being managed. Well, maybe it could be managed, but that everyone in the whole state is freaking liberals? Are you kidding me? That's not even humanly possible. I really battle with you guys on the right. Like, I have to say, I have been really considering on educating myself on possibly becoming a left center. Because of just this constant battle with some of the things that I feel are aligned with conservative views, unfortunately. Just black people on TikTok coming here demonizing me because I speak the truth about our communities. But I will never be a Republican, ever. That will never happen. And honestly, I really don't like conservatives. I really don't know where I belong. Do you ever feel like that in politics? Do you ever feel like you just don't belong? That's how I feel. I feel like I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not center. I'm just like, around the way girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's things that I'm conservative about and there's things that I'm left about. And there's nothing that I'm Republican about. Like, absolutely nothing. Okay, anyway, let me see what you guys were talking about. As you guys can see, I don't want to fight tonight, y'all. I don't have it in me. I've been fighting with you guys for the past like 48 hours. Also, I wanted to tell you, if you enjoy our conversations here, our debates with moi and all of our friends here that keep coming back, and thank you, go to my YouTube channel, The Andrea Show. The link is in my bio. If you have the time, I don't know. If you're bored one day, eat popcorn, watch it. I have been posting these videos, like right now, me and you. When you guys come on here, after I'm done talking to you guys, I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel. So if you're ever featured on my live nights, go to my YouTube channel and just make a comment so I can tag you in that YouTube video so you get credit for it. Because, I don't do this alone. I do this with you guys. So... and we argue, we fight, but you guys know I come with love. You guys know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to reinstate our American values that I grew up with in the 90s, a Pledge of Allegiance. Like, I remember, and I'll read your comments in a minute. I'd rather you guys talk to me than read your guys' comments because I don't know if there's trolls here. And sometimes I think I give too much energy into the trolls. But what I want to say is, do you guys remember... oh, we have a guest. I'll invite you in just a second. But I just want to remind you guys, do you guys remember when we used to say the Pledge of Allegiance in class? And when we said, in God we trust, liberty and justice for all? I really think we got to bring that back. Because I think that's why we have lost our true American values, which is inclusive and not exclusive. You guys understand that? Okay, let's see who wants to talk. Oh, wait. What's up, Wasteland?
How's it going?
You know, just trying to take a calm approach today. What's going on?
Not much. I actually did remember one time I promised you the eggnog recipe, so I thought I'd actually say that today.
Oh, that's what's up. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
So what I like to do is mainly I will first separate my egg yolks from the whites, scramble the egg yolks, heat the milk at a very low temperature, mix the egg
Uh-huh.
yolks in so it doesn't like cook and curdle, which is very gross. And then I'll
Yeah,
take
that
the
sounds good.
egg whites with heavy whipping cream, and I'll actually basically make like a whipped cream meringue combination. And after I've heated the egg yolk milk to a safe
Yeah,
temperature, obviously, I'll then
yeah.
fold the meringue back into that, and that what makes the eggnog. And then I'll spice it with a little bit of maple syrup, vanilla, eggnog, not whoops, nutmeg, and cinnamon. And I'll
Oh,
give that a taste.
that
It's
sounds
literally so much better
delicious.
than the store-bought stuff, and it's so much cheaper to make.
Do you post like actual videos, like content on your TikTok?
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with eggnog. I'll just say that. I
Oh,
can
but you
send
should
you it.
make a
I'll
video.
follow you and I'll actually DM you it if that's okay with you.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
I'll
I,
I'll send you
I
my
have to.
recipe.
That's awesome, you guys, and I'll share it. So you guys, if you guys are here right now, I know there's not a crazy amount of us, which I actually like when there's not that many people in here. That's
I try
awesome.
not.
So
I try to be that middle ground person with you, and I
I love
prefer
that.
just when there's less people in the comments just screaming things like. There's some things that I disagree with you, but there's some things that
Yeah.
I'd rather find those middle ground things that are productive issues.
Yeah, so you got to be an Aries or a Capricorn because I'm a Sagittarius and I don't really get along with a lot of people, to be honest. People either really love me or they really hate me. I've never been somebody to like, I'm a middle child, so I'm always
Hmm.
like the
I
outcast.
don't know what my sign is. I have no clue.
When's your birthday?
January 31st.
Oh yeah, you're a Capricorn. That's why. That's there you go.
Okay, just
Capricorns
wanted to
are the
pop in and tell
best.
you that.
Yeah, well, thank you. We're buddies. I love it.
Just getting
But
close to
I want to
Christmas,
talk
I'd
to
rather
you.
just have those fun talks, just
Yeah,
random things.
Yeah, I'm a fan. What I want to say is I would like to talk about what we don't agree on because I'm trying to be better. And you know what? I'm really a love bug. Like I'm like, trolls, Poppy. I swear to God, I am the black poppy. Like I just want this world to be fluffy, and I'm an extremist, utopic person. So the even the ideology that people don't agree with me, I'm like, how do you not agree with me? I like love everything. Like I see the good in everything. So if I'm fighting and I'm passionate about something, it's because I'm passionate about love. I'm passionate about everybody living in a utopic, reality. Like all I do is talk about gun control, which people are now screenshotting my lives and duetting me and coming for me. Oh my God, you guys got to see my newest post. What else
See,
do I
that's
fight
fine.
for?
I
Go
don't
ahead.
fight with you on that. I'm not gonna make videos about that because I'd rather have a person face-to-face direct
Right.
conversation. Because if I make a mistake or if we either make a mistake, I'd rather just confront that here and the now.
That's awesome. And that's the beautiful thing about live. It's just a different vibe, right? And then I talk about, the BLM. I mean, I actually, I've been
You
in
even had the
Connecticut.
theories about some of
Yeah.
that stuff. The whole semi-history thing about the whole job loss and how that actually spiked with the crack epidemic to actually increase the crime rates. Remember we talked about that?
Right,
Who else was with us
right.
in the live stream?
What's going on?
I forgot who else was in the live stream with us. I think was it Miss
Right.
Brown who was there
That's
as well.
oh yeah, Miss T. Listen,
Miss
I
T,
love
yeah.
talking about that. And guess what? I don't know if you missed it. I've been doing lives. I've been so like just out of it because I've been here doing like 3 hour lives every day at night.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about that, and I had a friend here, Miss Purdy. I don't know if she's here right now, but she usually does pop through. She got pissed. Go to my YouTube channel and look at the second video to the newest. She went off on me because I said, and this is why people start calling me conservative for all of a sudden. I don't know why. I'm like super
See,
left.
that's the
I even
problem.
did.
If you leave in that blue and red type of mentality, you're not going to get any productive things done in the world.
I mean, it's crazy because you guys think I'm a conservative. You guys think I'm attacking black people because all I said was if the FBI throws crack in our cities, we should have had I don't know, the morality aligned enough not to take the drugs. I don't make excuses for our people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the FBI, this is what people are saying. The FBI, sorry, you ignited that conversation again.
My apologies.
No, no, no. That's great because I had no plan tonight. So that basically, historically, the FBI, I don't know. I'm freaking 36 years old. I just turned 36 years old. So I don't know if this really happened. But people say the FBI uh, placed or started selling crack through the black
You can put it
communities.
past them.
Really? I mean, I
Yeah, the
wouldn't
former
either.
government.
I, well, I'm with you on that one. I mean, did you know what they did? Who watched the 13th Amendment on Netflix? Who watched the 13th? That thing was crazy what they did to the leader of the Panthers. I'm gonna rewatch that Netflix special. Did you watch that, Wasteland? The
No.
13th? It's good. Yeah, can you believe how people say that the FBI might have, I think they said the FBI might have been a part of the death of John F. Kennedy
Oh, I'll talk to you
Jr.
about that.
Yeah, I was saying, wait, where did I got that from you, right?
The
You,
Bush thing,
yeah,
and
that
how
was
he
such
was the
a,
one who was there that day. He was appointed for it.
right. Oh my God. Like I'm just not that much educated on that subject. But yeah, you taught me that. So what my whole point is, obviously the FBI.
Mm-hmm. Oh, am I coming through? Oh no.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
I'm
Hello?
probably gonna have to
Hello?
get out in a
Hello?
minute. I'm having a
No,
lot of
hello, can you
feedback.
you can't hear me?
I'm getting so much
Wasteland.
feedback. I'm probably gonna have to head out for the evening. You have a good evening.
Oh. Okay, bye Wasteland. Can you hear me? Oh man. Somebody called. Can you hear me guys? We're just getting started. Dang it. Okay. Basically what happened is somebody just called me. So my mic cut out. I'm on my iPhone. Okay, thank you. Dang it. I lost Wasteland. He's like one of my favorite persons to talk to because I don't know. He's just like, I don't know. Obviously, I've never seen him, but he's just like, I don't know, my friend on here. Anyway, my whole point is when we were on the subject that we were talking about Wasteland, that people are now calling me conservative and thinking that I'm attacking the black community because I'm saying we need to address the issues that we are perpetuating. There's so much focus, right, on our history, historically, what happened to black people. And there's so much focus on what white people are doing to us, right, systemically, that I think our community leaders forget to hold our own communities accountable. That's all I'm saying. Oh, thank you, first Miss Amalka. That's all I've been saying is that accountability needs to be met with all parties, left, right, black, white. It shouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to be a good person, you have got to understand what you could be doing wrong and what you need to fix. Am I wrong for saying that? You know, I have made mistakes in my life. I'm 36 years old. I just turned 36 years old. But what has made me like a diamond, which is my I don't know if you guys notice, I have a diamond in my profile pic and my logo and my brand, because I really try to fix myself on a day-to-day basis. Today I didn't feel like doing nothing, you guys. I'm a full-time realtor in broker's class. Oh, what'd you say, Wasteland? Accountability for your fellow countrymen and women. Exactly. I am trying to be a broker right now. I don't know if you guys know this. And my boss finally signed my document. I thought she wasn't going to sign it because, you know, I always think that systemic racism is happening to me because I'm a minority in my brokerage. And I was so nervous because I need her to sign this document for me to take the broker's test. Thank you. Don't tell me congratulations yet, Wasteland, because I haven't taken the test. I haven't been studying this week. I'm so nervous. But do you guys understand? Like, my whole point is, right now I'm a realtor. My gross was 60,000, which for me was amazing. The fact that I brought in $60,000 on my own terms. Wow. I sold 13 houses. Wow. That was freaking. And guess what? Hello. Hi.
What's up? We here. We in the show. What up?
What up? What up? Look at you. You're so cool.
Nah,
You have like this swag. Like, wow.
that's regular. That's regular. That's normal. But
That's regular. That's normal. That's not really that normal.
nah, baby, it's just what I'm gonna
Oh my God.
do, baby. What's up?
See, you guys, this is why I've never been with like, I'm always with really square dudes because I can't keep up. I'm a whack black chick.
I'm
I'm
whatever,
not this cool.
whatever you want.
Oh, what?
I'm dad to whatever.
I'm
Whatever
such
you
a
feel.
dork. Okay, before I go, like, where are you from? New York?
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Oh, look, you're so cool. He's from Brooklyn.
Hey, what's up? But you gotta go nowhere right now.
Oh my God. I'm like, guys, it's getting hot in here. Like, oh my God. Why? My fiance's gonna kill me. I gotta get the hell out of there. This is why I've never been with a black guy. If you guys really want to know, it's not that I never wanted to. It's I can't handle it. Like, have you ever seen a black person turn red? I think you guys just witnessed it. Like, my cheeks are hot. I don't even know what to say. It's just, what was that? What was he doing? What is that? My fiance would be like, nah, cut that off. Like, I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, let me get myself composed. Basically, what I was saying was, I'm talking about accountability. If you guys don't know this, basically, I was so excited to make 60 grand gross, but I know this year, 5 years, right, that I'm ready to take the next step because I don't know. I just feel like I'm ready, and I'm scared. I'm terrified, you guys. I hate taking tests. I'm 36 years old. Like, who wants to sit in front of a computer. And I took this test 5 years ago. It's not really easy, if you know what I'm saying. It's a whole bunch of problem questions. It's just like, oh my God. But I passed it and I did it. And I'm going to try to do it again so I can better myself. I can sit here all day and make excuses. I can keep telling you guys, I don't know if I'm cut it out to be a broker, to have my own agency. Well, you think I'm Barbara Cochran up in this piece? I don't know. Maybe I could be, though, right? It's all about your thought process. You know, I just have always had a positive thought process that thinks like, wow, I don't know if I can do this. God's my best friend. I always talk to him. If you guys don't believe in God, you don't have to. But I always tell myself, like, God, you know, I'm just Andrea, you know, like Jenny from the block. I'm Andrea from the island. I'm Andrea from Hawaii. I'm an island girl. I grew up in Waikiki. Like, I never even left my city. I'm freaking literally an island girl with, you know, not the best education, but, you know, I did go to college for a year. Can I do this? God, you know, and God says all things are possible. All things with me. I don't know with whoever else out there, you know, but with me, my God says all things. Hello, my friend Pro-Choice Mama 2021. So with that said, we got to take accountability. I know it's scary to actually think that we could be wrong in some areas, white or black. Like, let's talk about mass shootings. Oh, hello from Connecticut again. What's up? Like, let's talk about, you know, since yesterday I talked a lot about black on black crime, which is a real thing, people. It really is. Okay. Yes, there is crime. It's just crime. Okay, you don't have to attach a color to it. But the reason why we have to say black on black crime is because it's due to proximity, right? There is white on white crime. Just nobody really talks about white on white crime. And they don't call it that. So we can talk about it here, right? Of course we can talk about it. Of course white people kill each other due to their proximity. But they're not so offended. Why are black people so offended when you talk about black on black crime? How can we fix crime in the black community if we don't talk about crime? And how do we have the discussion about black men killing other black people, specifically black men? Because as you guys know, and as I've been educating you guys, as I educate myself, that gun violence is dominated by just the men gender. Like, they're freaking crazy. Like, who runs the world? Men. Okay, who runs the gun world? Men. Although women are like, yeah, and I'm gonna let two guests on. I'm just finishing up my point. How can we address the issues within our communities, white or black, if we don't talk about the crime specifically with our race? Like, you just have to have a conversation about it. All right. And it's not to attack our people, it's to bring forth the truth, bring forth the issues so that we can bring forth solutions. Hello, hi, how are you?
Yo, what is up? It is your boy, Mr. Positivity in the house.
All right.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to troll. I just want to say you
I
look
love that.
absolutely gorgeous, queen. I just wanted to let you know that. And I hope you have an amazing night and an amazing rest of your week.
Thank you.
Yes. Just trying to spread the positivity. I'm sick of all the trolls on TikTok.
Yeah, me too. So
yes, I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a follow, and please have an amazing rest of the night, okay?
Oh my God, all right. Oh my God. I'm not used to positivity. Why is everybody so nice today? That's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Positive. Wow. Am I single? No. I'm engaged, but I'm crazy. Okay, I'll tell you guys this, because Jeffrey doesn't even watch my videos. Listen, we're gonna have a friendship conversation real quick. Tell me, am I crazy? So my man is a correctional officer. Yeah, no, I have a correctional officer fiance, and we share a child together, and we share 3. Anyway, guess what? So I have 2 iPhones. Tell me, am I crazy? Don't tell me I'm crazy until I finish this story real quick, though. Basically, my man works 16 hours a day, and our whole 6 years, 6 years of being together has been tough because he's gone so much because he's working. So he works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 16 hours, allegedly in the jail. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this, but correctional officers are known to F up in their relationships. They are known to cheat. Okay, and I found that out in the long run. I didn't know there was so much drama with correctional officers having sex with inmates and breaking the law. I mean, I see it all the time. I just saw a correctional officer that got busted for having sex with another inmate. I'm like, I didn't even know that could freaking happen. Like, who would have thought that correctional officers weren't, abiding by the law that they're supposed to correct, right? So, there has to be a sense of, oh, check this stuff. See, you know where I'm going. There has to be a sense of trust. Now, I have 2 iPhones, and the one I have that I'm using is my new 2013. That's the one I'm talking to you guys on. My other one, I was trying to sell, but everybody's trying to jip me. Do you guys know that my iPhone 2011 cost $800? Yeah. And now it's only worth like $250 or when I traded it in, well, no, I didn't trade it in because I wasn't going to give them my phone after I paid $800 and only had it for 1 year. So my $800 iPhone 11, I just kept and gave it to my son. My son plays on it. If you can't trust him, you don't need him. I know, I love him and I will trust him until I can. But just hear me out. So I was looking everywhere today for my other iPhone that I give to my son. Can you believe, I would show you guys the map, but I didn't know if this is going to work, but intuitively something said, go in your iPhone setting and do the Find My iPhone thing. I always heard about people I've been an iPhone user for a long time. So I click on the settings, I go to Find My iPhone. And on the bottom of the app, the application, it says, you said Find My iPhone works for anything. Yeah. So basically I tried it for the first time on my new phone, the 2013. And on the bottom, it said devices. And I was like, wow. So I only have 2 devices. And then guess what? I even saw my older devices that I don't use anymore. Like all the devices I've ever had, hey, what's up, are on this thing called Find My iPhone. Well, guess what? After looking all over my house for an hour for my iPhone, that I gave to my son, it's like a mile away from me. It's like, I believe under a mile away from me. It's not in my house. So there's a map that comes up. I see that it actually tells me that my phone that I'm using right now with you guys is with me. It says with you. And then it shows, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? George Soros is behind her. Really? Can you guys hear me? Just say yes, please. Can you guys hear me? Am I still frozen? Hello? Let me see. Am I still frozen? You guys can hear me? Okay, good. Sorry. All right. I'll show you what's behind me. It's just my poster for you guys to know my political stances. But basically, real quick. So I went to Find My iPhone, and it's like a mile away from me at some apartment building. And it said the last time somebody used it was this morning at 6:11. That's when Jeffrey leaves the house. So you know I'm crazy, right? So he's been gone since early this morning, like since 6 o'clock. And it says that my iPhone is in somebody's apartment. How did my iPhone come from our house to somebody's apartment? And I have the address. I don't know. The only thing that I can think of is that my son might have had it in his car. Who's Jeffrey Dahmer? My fiance. So he's going to be home in like less than an hour. Am I crazy? Because I'm really mind boggled at how my iPhone, which was last time I was using it, I was listening to music with my son in our living room. How did my second iPhone end up in somebody's apartment? Right now, my Find My iPhone app is telling me that I have one phone with me here and one phone. Oh, please don't say that. Please don't say that. So when he comes home in an hour, and I'll probably be talking to you guys still, I'm just like, do I think my man would cheat on me? No. Like, he's going to the jail. And he leaves like hella early, yo. Like, why is my other iPhone in somebody's house? It's literally driving me insane. Like, I just hope like the app is like somehow like broken or something, and I'm going to find it in my house, because I just had this iPhone and it's telling me, like, what am I supposed to do? Go knock on the door? Because it gave me the address of this building, and it's like a ghetto building too. Maybe he dropped it. Maybe I dropped it somewhere and somebody stole it. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how this happened, but somehow somebody stole it. I could knock on the door. Or one thing I do always, I always leave my door unlocked. And people have been known to steal cars on our block. We had our Toyota. We have 2 cars. We had one of our cars stolen right in our front yard next to our door. So I'm thinking maybe I left it in my car and somebody stole it. That's what I'm thinking what happened. But something in my mind is like, man, like, what if he's not going to work in the morning and he's going to like some other chick's house to get some? When I tell him this, you guys, he's going to think I'm crazy. He's literally going to think I'm insane. But it's just like, how do I trust somebody that's always gone? Okay. I don't think he's cheating, you guys. But how would I know? Like, you know, I'm engaged. Like, we have a kid together. And because he's gone and I haven't talked to him, it's just been marinating. So as soon as he walks through the door, I'm going to be like, where were you? I actually think what I'm going to do is, as soon as he gets home, I'm going to take his car and I'm going to drive to the location. I'm not going to knock on the door at 10 o'clock at night, but I'm definitely want to see like where the actual location, or maybe I will. Maybe I'll ring the doorbell and be like, yo, like, why is my phone saying that my other phone is in your house? What if a girl answers? Oh my God. That's crazy. I don't know. You said, what now? Is the cellular service off? Yes, it is. What's up, DJ? So it's an older phone that I used to use. And basically I just use it for the internet. I can't call it because I transferred the phone to my newer phone. So it was just for the internet. I usually just give it to my son, Jordan, to play on the apps and to watch YouTube. And I listen to my music on my iTunes. If the cellular service is off, then the Wi-Fi has connected to a known Wi-Fi. If the cellular service is off, then the Wi-Fi has connected to a known Wi-Fi. So what does that mean? You 100% trust no one. You said you don't trust nobody. I actually like talking about something other than politics. This is kind of fun. I mean, listen, the phone was only listen, I love that iPhone, to be honest. Like, I was going to sell it or let my son play with it. It's still worth value. I mean, an iPhone 11 is worth freaking a few $100. So the fact that just the thought that somebody if somebody stole it, I mean, I just want it back. You know, it's not your freaking item. It's mine. And you must have picked it up somewhere, but I'm going to need it back. But could it be that maybe Jeff did something? I don't know. I don't think so, but he's going to think I'm crazy too. He's going to be like, babe, are you freaking kidding me? Why you got to say that? My husband went to go get some. Really? Like, I'm hoping that I find it and like it's just like rigged or something. It actually could be in your house. My phone shows like that. Also just pinging it after he's home. Lost it and someone found it. Could be that too. That's so sad. What the heck is pudding packing? That sounds nasty. Ask to sniff his drawers when he walks in. You guys are crazy. See, I was asking, am I crazy? You guys are crazy. Not me. You're crazy. Have you not been giving him what he wants? I do. I think. I guess I am insecure a little bit because I'm stuck at home with our kid and he's gone for 16 hours. Like, literally, this dude leaves at like 6 o'clock in the morning and doesn't come home until 10. I'm only talking to you guys like this because you guys are like my friends. I guess we're going to find out. Ask your child where the phone is. I did, but my son, he doesn't remember. I remember where I had it last. I've looked everywhere for this phone, but my iPhone is telling me it's at a specific address. Here, I'll show you. I'm going to show you guys, but don't freaking be crazy. Let's see. Look at this. I don't live here, you guys. What? I don't live here. I live down here. Let me see if I can get a better picture. Look at this. That's where I live. Look, you guys see it? Am I crazy? This is where I live, and this is the iPhone. The other one. See, you see how it's red? And this one looks like I'm using it. Look at that. And this one shows that it's off, which would be appropriate because it's probably dead. And I did report it missing. Look at this. One phone, two phones. I got two phones. Look at this. What is that? 1, 2. That's 3 blocks from my house. This is 3 blocks from my house. Look, this is where I live. You turn the corner, 1 block, 2 block. That's like 3 blocks from my house. And this has an address. Jeff doesn't work here. Jeff works far away. It's literally down the street from my house. Look at that. I'm in between my phones. How do you explain that? That is crazy, right? You want to see a cute picture of my son? When he was little. Off topic. Dude, I don't know if you guys are parents, but sometimes I look at my phone and I find old pictures of my kids. Jordan is now 5 years old, but he looked like he was like about 2 at this age. His hair is not that straight anymore either. It's like really tight curls. But look at that. I love that picture. My poor baby. He is so cute, isn't he? Mixed babies are so cute. They just are. This is a picture of me and Jeff, guys. You really think he would cheat on me? Look how happy he looks with me. My baby wouldn't cheat on me. Y'all crazy. Look at him. See, he's a CO. I'm with the popo. He loves me. I don't think he's cheating on me. I think you guys are right. Look, it looks like I'm with my man. What's up, Jeff? I think somebody found it. I think somebody might have found it. I might have dropped it somewhere and somebody found it and they live near me. Yeah. So what should I do? Should I knock on the door? He looks naughty. Really? What is wrong with you guys? You guys must be tired. All right, guys, what are we talking about? You want to see a picture of my mom? I was talking to my mom. That's my mom. Look at that. We look like the same person almost, right? I'm just sharing pictures with you guys. I'm just trying to show you guys that I'm a real person. Oh, you guys are coming for me. Is he 50? He's younger than me. Really? He's 33. I'm 36. I'm older than him. Mama is a cutie. She don't look like that no more. She don't look like that no more. I'm trying not to sneeze. Jeff just got some grays. He got a lot of grays. But he told me he's been gray since he was like, I don't know, 20. It's hereditary, I guess. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about politics. Is this it? I'm stressed out about that phone because I really do feel like somebody stole it. Got me scratching my head for hours. Don't let your mind play tricks on you. That's what's up. That's actually good advice. I'm not going to let it play tricks on me. what do you guys want to talk about tonight, real quick? We got about 30 minutes. This is the list. I think we should talk about abortion. What do you guys think? You guys want to talk about abortion? Let people join in debate. Yeah, let's do this. Let's debate. Let's go. What are we debating about tonight? And let me remind you, I'm going to post this on YouTube. So if you bring forth your face, the world will see it if I can help it. What are we talking about today, guys? You know what it takes to get a pistol permit in Connecticut? No, I don't, but I can find out for you if you want me to. I just shared a link to somebody on you know what's funny, it's like I'm anti-gun, but I'm like attracting people to want to know more about the gun, so I don't know if I'm really helping out. But I think you have to be at least 18, which I think is too young, which I think is way too young, to be honest. I think and I know this because I know Norway has done this. They have upped the number. So when I tell you guys, it's not that I want to take away all the guns. I've never said that. What I've said is that we should follow a system that works to lower gun-related deaths in this country, and we need to follow other countries that are doing it well, like Norway. And one of the things that I learned that they do in Norway, which has some of the strictest laws in any country in the world. I'm like, where am I on the map? Is create a higher number to get the guns as far as age, to have an age restriction that's and old enough to make prudent choices. You're too young at 18. Nothing I did from 18 to even 26 was anything productive. To be honest, I even think 25 is too old. I think you could get a gun probably at like 30. You got too much to lose. I think that could help. You said what now? Let's talk about secular humanism. Why don't you come here? Listen, if you guys want to debate, you got to come on. You got to click that button, and I'll let you on, and we'll talk about it. But everybody loves the gun debate. I do too. But it's kind of like exhausting because, I just feel like people love their guns. Like in America, it's just freaking ridiculous. Like I was watching last year, actually, before I got extremely into the gun control realm. This Asian girl, I think she was from like Japan, and she was sharing pictures. It's on my TikTok. It's so far down because it was last year. But basically, she was sharing pictures of what she thinks America is like. She has never been here. And she showed, what did she show? She showed like McDonald's. I guess she thought that we liked McDonald's. Then she showed that we like, I don't know, like football. And then she shows that we like guns. And I was like, wow, like other people in other countries think we are gun obsessed. And they're right. I honestly think they're right. 21 is too young to you. Are you guys agreeing with me, or are you disagreeing with 21 for a pistol permit? You guys want 21 to be the age across the board to get a gun? I'm going to highly disagree with you. No 21-year-old should have a gun. Okay, what are you even doing at 21? Nothing productive. No. I think we could start there in America. We could raise the age restriction. Yep. Dan, I agree with you. 30 plus is good. I think 30 plus is good. When you ain't got nothing to lose, because everybody with the guns, you guys are so quick to try to defend yourself. I mean, look at Kyle Rittenhouse. Mind you, you want to know the news with Kyle Rittenhouse? Let me tell you. So Kyle Rittenhouse is now backhanding all of his fans that deemed him a hero. He literally just said on some conservative show, I forget the name. I actually have the picture right now. I'll show you guys because I did a TikTok about it. I did a whole TikTok on Kyle Rittenhouse today. What did I do with it? Where are you, Kyle? Like I know him, right? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? Oh, I must have deleted it off my phone because I do so much videos. But basically, Kyle Rittenhouse, he was on Tucker Carlson's show, but it was not Tucker Carlson when he said these things. He just said that he's getting rid of his AR-15 that he used to kill Joseph Rosenbaum. He said, we want nothing to do with that gun. Right now, he says like he wants to be a police officer and like move on with his life. That's what he said. So I just think that's kind of funny because so many conservatives love Kyle Rittenhouse, deemed him a hero, and he's saying he don't even want his guns. He's not even an AR-15 supporter because he knows what it's capable of doing. He almost, excuse me, ruined his life. He almost went to jail for life. He could have got the death penalty possibly. I don't know. But he realized that having the ability to kill someone is really not a good thing. Yeah, you should, defend yourself. But the fact that he has to live the rest of his life knowing that he took a life, he don't want nothing to do with it. Now, he didn't say he was going to not be a gun owner. But what he did say is he wanted nothing to do with the AR-15 that was the tool used to kill 2 men and to hurt one pretty bad in the hand and could have hurt a lot more people. He got away with murder, literally. Welcome to America. All right. Now, do you guys want to talk to me tonight? What's poppin'? You guys must be shy. Don't be shy. Guns keep you safe? No, they don't. Not statistically. If you just do basic, Jolly Roger 1776, if you just do basic research pertaining to America and our issue with this public crisis called gun violence, gun-related deaths are plaguing our country. I just read that every almost 2 days there's a mass shooting in this country. It was like 1.96 days. Like, what does that even mean? Like, we don't even make it to the second day. So technically, almost every day and a half, there's a mass shooting. And what is a mass shooting? That's anytime some more than, I believe, 2 to 3 people die, not including the perpetrator. So that's happening a lot, to be honest. But black people do that, but they don't really advertise it as mass shooting. I feel like the media really targets people with certain issues. Mass shootings is very much being used more so when it comes to white people, specifically men, young men in high school, or at their job. White people are in the media perpetrated as the mass shooters, right? But I have to say that they're not doing all the mass shootings. And why is it that when black on black crime happens, why don't they call it mass shootings? They really don't. They just keep reporting it like on the news, and it's constantly on the news, especially here in Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. Every time I watch Hartford news, there's some report is being blasted about black people killing each other, but they don't say mass shooting. So I wonder why that is so. Dan, you're pro-choice. That's awesome. So am I. There are statistics, on how many crimes are prevented by armed civilians. I know, but it doesn't matter because gun violence is still happening at high rates in this country. Gun violence is on the rise. Mass shootings are on the rise. So, I mean, to me, it only should take one life. I think, how the BLM is saying Black Lives Matter? Well, we all matter. I'm not saying all lives matter because we know what that agenda. I have to turn off my mic. My phone's about to die. Sorry. I had to turn off my mic because my phone's about to die. So I have to put the charger in there, which means I can't use my mic. I like using my mic because the sound is profound and louder. But that's okay. Let me read your comments. Guns are used in 3 million self-defense cases where 82 never fire. So what? Now give me the opposite. I mean, you want to do a tit for tat? Let's do a tit for tat. How many people die a day? Isn't it like 100 and like I think 109 or something like that people die a day? What don't you understand? That it doesn't matter how many people's lives are saved. A lot of people are dying. Point blank, period. Just this year, it says that over 40,000 people die a year due to gun violence. Gun violence is gun-related deaths, because not all the gun-related deaths are violent. Sometimes they happen because of suicide. Sometimes they're accidental. Mass shootings happen to innocent teenagers. Recently, 4 just died. Who gives a damn about the people that lived? What about the people that are dying? The people that are living don't need an advocate. It's the people that are dying that need advocation, right? Why not? It's crime prevented, a life saved. It doesn't matter how many lives are saved because of the gun. It does not matter. When people are dying, hundreds of people are dying a day because of the gun. So let's give each other a visual here. You have the Titanic, right? And the Titanic, you remember that movie? You got a whole bunch of people on the boat. And nobody really talks about the people that survived the Titanic. Yes, a lot of white people that were rich survived the sinking of the Titanic. But what was the movie about? What do we feel sad about? The fact that, what was it, over almost 3,000 people? I don't have the number exactly. Wasn't it about 3,000 people went down under into the ocean, including Jack? You know what I'm saying? Nobody talks about Bob, who snuck himself in a put a wig on his head. Yeah, his wife had a wig. Put a wig on his head and hopped in a boat. Ain't nobody talking about that. We talking about Jack. You know what I'm saying? More people die in hospitals. Should we stop them too? How about this? Stop using whataboutisms because they bring forth no solutions. Like, let's not do that. I do like that you're tugging with me, warring, but you're bringing forth no solutions. You keep using whataboutisms, and they do the same thing when it comes to racism systemically in this country. Whataboutisms is the plague in social contracts. It's a plague where people think that they can sit here and keep talking about whataboutisms and derailing the topic. We're not talking about people surviving the gun. We're talking about people dying from the gun. We're talking about the 4 teenagers that just died from the gun. We're talking about, this is the 9th year anniversary where a whole classroom was freaking outed. We're talking about Nick Cruz, who had to plead guilty to shooting these kids at schools. We're talking about the people that are deceased because of gun violence. How many rappers have died because of gun violence? Nipsey Hussle, Tupac, Biggie. Ain't nobody talking about Ice Cube. We talking about Tupac. You know what I'm saying, bro? I want to sit here and keep talking about all the people that are living right now and breathing. Who cares about that? Taking preventative measurements is what we're talking about. Having precautionary measures in place in this country is what we're talking about. And it's not just me talking about it. Letitia General something, I'll show you a picture of her. She was just on The View talking about it. Why is it that when Letitia James, New York Attorney General, which I don't know a lot about her, which I want to, because I live right next to New York, I promise you, if I ever see a campaign with her, I'm showing up. Go watch my video, or just put on Google The View and put Letitia James on gun control. And she talks about Newsom, what's his name? The governor in California, who is creating an ability for civilians to sue and go after gun manufacturers that are selling these very dangerous weapons called guns, ghost guns, specifically some guns, not all guns, but those AR-15s and other style of assault rifles or semi-automatic, if you will, the ones that are being used to kill innocent people, those ones. They're making it so that the civilians can sue. It's kind of amazing. I just want to know all about it. This woman is a freaking saint. She's doing what I'm doing, but she's just more articulate. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a normal person just sharing with you guys my thoughts about it. But a lot of people in our government, as well as in our state seats, Senate seats, general seats, are wanting gun violence to stop. I don't know why you don't. It's kind of amazing to me. And let me just share this before I add somebody on here. I said this yesterday. Gun violence alone reduces the life expectancy of Black people, Black Americans specifically, by 4 years. Okay, Black Americans are twice as likely as white Americans to die from gun violence, and 14 times more likely than white Americans to be wounded. Okay, gun violence disproportionately affects the Black community, and the U.S. largely ignores it, especially in our neighborhoods. It's a problem. That's why I talk about it. I talk about the problems so that we can bring forth solutions. And talking about people that are living because of the gun. What is that doing? It's not saving lives. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. Fighting the good fight. What's up? What are we debating about? Guns?
Yeah. We'll talk about guns real quick. I'll go back to your first point, and then I'll address what you have in the background right there.
Okay.
So you said something about newsman in California wants to, or is okay with citizens suing gun manufacturers if something happens with a gun, basically, right?
Yeah, that's happening right now, man. He's got some plan. I just reported on it. Let me get my laptop. But go ahead. Tell me what you think about it.
I mean, would you sue a knife manufacturer if someone committed a crime with a knife?
Why do you need to use the whataboutisms? That's kind of like a
because it's a weapon. Both of them are weapons. I mean,
yeah, but not.
I can't hear you. You're muted for some reason.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm using my iPhone, so when people try to call me, then that happens. But I do come back. So I don't really like whataboutisms, in debating because it derails the whole conversation. Like, why are we talking about knives? Because it's really a slippery slope when you do that. Because if we talk about knives, then we're going to talk about forks, and then we're going to talk about hands, and
yeah, but then that's what
it's like going down the rabbit hole.
If you want to,
but why do you want to go down the rabbit hole with me, man?
That's what it leads to. If you want to start it at guns, then the next thing is knives. Okay, so like you want to sue people for making something, and then you want to punish them because someone else made a bad decision with that object. It has nothing to do with the manufacturer. It's the person who committed the fault, not the manufacturer.
Okay. Are you aware that access is easily given to people of all walks of life? Are you aware that although we do have gun laws, it varies from state to state, and we have loose gun laws that are allowing young kids and possibly criminals and even law-abiding citizens to misuse the gun. So I think
So who makes the laws that makes it easy? Is it the manufacturer, or is it the local government or the state?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Who makes the laws so it's the access to the gun is easier than other places? Is it the manufacturer, or is it
it's the state?
Okay, so I would say you would go after the state first before the manufacturer. You wouldn't
I don't disagree with that. I honestly think that you're onto something, to be honest, and I'm surprised that they didn't think of that. But it might be a harder process, don't you think? I mean, I'm not an attorney, but don't you think it'd be harder to go? So what are we supposed to do? How when you go to the state, who's being punished for that? Like, and do you think anybody in power? Because the state has a lot of power, more than I think the average everyday American realizes. Who's getting in trouble with the governor?
I mean, that's not my decision, you know. I'm just saying I don't.
Who's
It's not
being
my
held
job to do.
accountable for? Because it's not the. It's okay. So
I
the
would hold the
state
person who committed the crime accountable.
Well, listen. Um, So what if they're talking about if a manufacturer or shop, a gun shop? I mean, I'm pretty sure that you're aware that somebody can just walk into a gun store and maybe pass them like maybe I'm just thinking like could somebody walk into a gun store and hand over $1,000 and just not put anything on the books? Is that possible?
Maybe, yeah, I'm sure that happens,
Okay,
but
so that's a
then that's
problem.
not.
That's
Yeah,
that's a
that would
problem.
be yeah on the
I've
whoever
never been
sold the
in a
gun.
I've
That
never
would
been
be
in.
the person accountable, whoever sold the gun illegally.
Okay, so I want you to know that and I'm pulling it up now, Governor, so that Gavin Newsom is his name, pertaining to gun control. He's actually the only governor that I've seen trying to do so much about, which I think is pretty awesome. So it's like assault weapons. So I'm looking at the Office of Governor Gavin Newsom statement on assault weapons. So this is in regards to a specific style,
Okay, so
right?
assault, so not handguns.
No. So today's decision is a direct threat to public safety and the lives of innocent Californians, period. As the son of a judge, I grew up, this is him talking. I grew up with the deep respect for the judicial process and the importance of judge abilities to make impartial fact-based rulings. But the fact that the judge compared the AR-15, a weapon of war, this is what he said an AR-15 is. And I've even said that, but some people say that it's not a weapon of war. Anyway, a weapon of war that is used on the battlefield. Okay, well, he's saying that the AR-15 is used on the battlefield. Somebody told me just the other day that it isn't. Uh, the MS-13 is. Anyways, they're comparable. Moving on to a Swiss
MS-13 is
art.
like is a
Oh,
gang.
look.
I think it's
Oh,
the
guess what?
M16.
Thomas. I think your name is Thomas.
Yeah, yeah.
This is exactly what you're trying to argue right here. It's right now, you guys. I'm looking at www.gov.california.gov because I'm telling you about Governor Gavin Newsom and what he's doing about gun violence. He said, "I grew up, blah 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 blah." Just so there was a judge in court that said the fact that the judge compared the AR-15, a weapon of war that is used on the battlefield, to a Swiss Army knife completely undermines the credibility of this decision and is a slap in the face to the families who've lost loved ones due to this weapon. So that's the answer that I needed. Basically, what you're doing when you're deflecting, when you're talking about what about the knife, it really just derails all the families that have lost their kids due to mass shootings that the AR-15 almost every time is being used for.
Okay, but then I would ask, how many deaths or how many lives are lost due to the gun you just said? Was it the AR-15?
MS-13, I mean, I can look it up, but does
AR
it matter?
AR-15 compared to handguns in the
Yeah,
U.S. I
so
would say there are more deaths due to handguns than AR-15s in the U.S.
yeah, but the AR-15 does overkill, doesn't it?
I mean,
I mean, how
it
did I even said this the other
can
day?
be used, but again, it's very rare. If we're going to be talking about fixing a problem, right now we have a leaky faucet, and then we got a, a pipe that's burst, and right now we're focused on a leaky faucet, which is the M or the AR-15 instead of the burst pipe, which is the handguns.
Okay, I understand. Listen, you're talking to the right person because I don't know if you heard me talk about this before, but I am an extremist when it comes to being a utopic person. I want a utopic society. I know that's probably not going to ever happen,
Okay, due to the Bible said that our peace will be taken in the end. But I strive for peace, and I believe that the world deserves to have peace. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii originally, where there aren't a lot of guns on my island, and therefore there aren't a lot of gun-related deaths. Hawaii at one point was the fifth safest place in the country, and I believe that not having the gun on the island has a lot to do with that.
But let me ask you something. If I wanted, say I was living in
Now I
Hawaii.
live in Connecticut.
Yeah. But let's say I was living in Hawaii. Could I buy a gun if I wanted to?
You said
I
you
don't know the
couldn't?
laws in Hawaii. Could
Well, I have to look, but I
I?
mean,
Okay.
it's not easy to get a gun. I know that. Like I'm like I said, I've been in Connecticut for 12 years now, and I live next to a town called Gunhaven, New Haven, and people are dying every day due to the gun because maybe the gun is easy accessible, is accessed easily.
No, I know what you
Easy
mean.
access.
I'm living in Baltimore, and every day we got someone dying because of guns.
And,
But
wow,
it's
so
it's
you're
not an AR-15. It's a handgun.
but does it really matter though? Like to me, I feel like
But that's what I'm
we
saying. We're focused on a leaky faucet when we got a burst pipe that we need to fix. So how do we fix that burst pipe? How do we? Right now, that's more often than not handguns.
so let's talk
Uh,
about it. So I'm gonna pull up a picture right now are you talking about like a Glock or a revolver? Um,
I don't know. I don't know guns. I just know
Most
that majority
common
of gun shootings
gun.
in this country are handguns. And
I really would like to see a link that says that because the media has blasted the AR-15 as the uniform for mass shootings, which I think could we all agree that mass shootings are more terrifying than gang related gun violence?
I mean, yeah, it's very terrifying. But
So when you're
what
saying
happens?
we're
What
comparing
happens more often? I
faucets,
mean, I don't see any mass shootings with AR-15s here in Baltimore. I'm seeing little kids being killed by gang violence handguns. I think that's a little bit more, and that happens more
yeah,
often than an AR-15 shooting, right?
that's
So,
yeah. So that's why I love that you said that because that's pretty much what I've been reading. Um, I
so yeah,
I
that's all.
believe
That's for the most part, that's all gang related, and
okay.
I would say we wouldn't punish. I mean, if the gun was obtained illegally, then yes, you would punish the person as well as the holder, whoever sold that gun. But a lot of the times, these guns that are used in these crimes are illegally obtained. So even if you were to, like, I know where you're going with your argument. We got to ban guns and all that.
Yeah. Well,
People are
yeah,
still gonna want to or obtain a gun illegally if they want to because they're doing it already.
right. So my whole idea is to try to abate, like I tell everybody this, I'm a realtor. So what does that mean? How does that relate to this? When I sell a house and let's just say it has defects, like mold or termites or something that the person is buying the house doesn't want. I think we can all say that toxic mold should never be in the house. Nobody wants toxic mold. It's very bad for you. Or
Yeah.
asbestos or something like that. So what do we do before they move in? They abate the defect. They abate the toxic mold. We abate the problems. So that's why through my experience as a professional, if we have something that is toxic for our society, environment, uh, you know, our society is our home. So to me, we have an infestation of guns, and that's not over exaggerating. I just read that there's like to every 100 person, there's 120 guns. There are more guns in this country than people. We must abate the loose guns that are in the hands of criminals, as well as mentally ill. There's only two types of people that misuse the gun. That's people that are mentally ill and people that are not abiding by the law. They're not
Yeah.
law abiding. They have a gun, but they're not doing what they're supposed to do with the
Yeah.
gun. Like 1 out of 3 homes
Yeah,
has
but
a
in
gun
doing
and it's
that,
unlocked.
you
And
kind
then
of
criminals.
indirectly uh, attack, or not really attack, indirectly go after people who are abiding citizens. So people who have guns for, you know, hunting, recreational. They like to have a gun, and others that want it for protection.
Okay.
If you want to get rid of all these guns, yeah, like you said, you want this utopian world where we
Would be
don't have
nice,
any,
right?
or right, we have no guns in this country. I would
Well, I
bet my
don't believe that
life
we should
that
have no gun.
somebody,
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would bet my life that somebody, if they wanted to, they could obtain a gun illegally, even if we got
Okay.
rid of them, like Australia tried to do. Yeah. Um,
Well, I want to tell you this. Not only do I know that they were successful at lowering their gun violence deaths, they confiscated 650,000 guns. This is why TikTok is pretty awesome. Talked to an Australian who follows me on TikTok, and he said that the gun related deaths in his country went down substantially. It worked, people.
yeah.
And having stricter gun laws would make a huge difference. We have loose gun laws, which just means that we have these laws in place, but people aren't listening to it. It's kind of like a comparison to a restraining order. How many women die a year with restraining orders in place? A lot. I had a restraining order on my ex, and he still found me, and I still
Okay.
saw him. What's a paper going to do? We have laws that say you're not supposed to kill people. Yet people
Yeah,
die
and
every day.
again, there's people
So
who break that law. But then going back to Australia, um, Australia is a isolated uh, country, you know, out in the middle of the ocean, so far away from everything else, with a population of, I think, like 25 million, compared to the U.S., which has like 336 million. You know, that number is like, you can't compare Australia to the
right,
U.S. with that number, and having two other countries border uh, this country, knowing where most of the drugs, violence, and guns are coming from. I'm gonna say from the south, yeah,
right.
over the border illegally. You know, that's how they get into this country. It's harder to get guns illegally into Australia, I would say.
um, so let me just read this real quick. 4 countries with gun control and what America could learn from them. 30 people will be shot dead in America today, and this article was made. Uh, the date should be here somewhere. Recently. On average, it could be more. It is less than more will die tomorrow or the next day. Okay, whatever. The United States gun homicide rate is 25 times higher than other high income countries. So even though there's more Americans in this country, we are 25 times, we have 25 higher homicidal rates. Do you guys know what homicide means? It means people are dying. Dead ski. So Americans are divided on whether the country gun deaths could be reduced through tougher laws, which is what we're talking about, on gun control. Liberals argue that legal restrictions on gun ownership could save lives. That's what I'm a liberal. I believe that. But conservatives say that tougher gun laws would do nothing to change the behavior of violent criminals, which is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
So even
because
the
if I'm a criminal,
2012,
I can get a gun illegally if I wanted to. Nothing's gonna stop
yeah,
me.
but okay,
It's already
but what?
happening.
So somebody just duetted my live, took a screenshot of my live with me saying, if you guys follow me, I just posted a video refuting what he said. But basically, on one of my lives, one of these days, recently, I said, if I could confiscate all your guys' guns, I would. If I could rat the people that are misusing the gun, I would. And he said that I'm going to create a war, basically, in a violent war with people that don't want to give up their guns. So this is what I'm saying. How can we get to the criminals if we can't tell a difference from them, from a criminal to a law-abiding citizen? Nick Cruz, who shot up those kids, who just pleaded guilty, was just a freaking kid who got the gun from his parents, probably.
Who was
Just
that? That
recently,
kid that looked crazy in the picture?
yeah. How do you get the
Okay.
gun? So how do you explain how are these kids that are law-abiding citizens, because they're not even old enough to buy the gun, are getting the gun from their law-abiding parents? They're
I mean, again, like I would say, but that's a rare case where a
It's
kid
really not. It's really not. Mass shootings are
compared
on the
to how
rise.
the rest of people are dying in this country, it is.
But see, that's deflection again.
That's
Listen,
not deflection. That's bringing up a fact. If you want to punish law-abiding citizens or everybody, it's only going to harm the law-abiding citizens more than it would the criminals, because criminals are already obtaining these guns illegally. If you go over and you take everybody's guns away in this country, go ahead, you got them all. All right.
yeah, that would
The
be a dream.
people who are law-abiding citizens won't be able to get a gun, correct?
Okay, but did you hear
Criminals
me?
will find a way to get that gun
And
back.
that's an argument that a lot of, I don't know if you're conservative, but you sound conservative. That's what a lot of conservatives are saying.
Yeah, yeah.
What I'm okay, yeah, that it makes sense, and I love these conversations. And thank you so much for being respectful. Wow, a lot of conservative people could learn a thing or two from you. How can we get to the criminals again if they look just like law-abiding citizens?
That's tough to answer. And
So
one
if
thing
you're
that
going
we
to clean
can't
your
do though is infringe on the Second Amendment, which is to protect ourselves.
right, and
Right?
you should be protect yourself. But didn't you mention another form of protection? Didn't you say
A
the
knife?
could be a form of protection?
Oh, for
Let's just
sure. But if
talk
someone
about
has a
that.
gun, who's winning that fight?
Excuse me,
If
what
I
was
have
that?
a, I said if I have a knife and someone has a gun, who's winning that fight?
Okay, so being that my company, my business is helping people move, I, for the past 5 years, have been a full-time realtor. Now, about to take my broker's license. So I've talked to thousands and thousands of people on Realtor.com, and also just friends and family. And whenever I talk to people, they always want to know: is the neighborhood safe? Is it have high gun? Now, I can't tell you that a neighborhood is safe. But what I can tell you is I can give you the links and things like that. So you have to make a very prudent choice of knowing your neighborhood, knowing what type of crime rates are going on and things of that nature. And I have advised everybody, it doesn't matter what demographic you come from, if there are high crime, especially homicidal rates in that neighborhood, I would suggest choose another one.
Yeah, of course,
Because
100%.
if we can okay, because to me, I'm a mom. So to me, I'm looking at our country like a dirty house, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, and when I think I want to clean up the streets of illegal guns first, listen, taking the guns from mentally ill people and people that are just not following the rules is second to last. The first thing I would like to do, if I could in a dream, is clean the streets from the criminals that have the gun. Do you guys remember last year, Nick Cannon, a 5-year-old? Do you remember that story? He got shot in the head in the front yard. A black guy did it. He knew
Is
the
that little
kid.
white boy?
Yes.
Yeah,
His
yeah, I
name was
think I
Cannon.
remember.
I don't know if his name was Nick. Was it Nick? It was Cannon Hinnant. I'm sorry. I said Nick Cannon. I'm so sorry. His name is Cannon Hinnant. And I think I was the only person on TikTok really that was promoting for awareness due to that beautiful young little white boy. He's only 5, got shot in the head. You know, it's just kind of crazy. I'm losing
That
my
is
train of
sad.
thought.
And again, that happens almost
Okay, yeah. Oh,
every
I know what I'm
day
saying.
here in
So how can
Baltimore and
we?
Chicago.
Yeah,
Kids are
yeah,
dying.
and the kids are dying, and there's a 3-year-old. I'll just pull it up right now. I'm happy that my phone is, well, not my phone, my computer is charged. Look, 3-year-old shot. I'm telling you, it's gonna come right up. Um, oh my God, there's so many. I think this is the one that I'm talking about though. His name is Micaiah. 3-year-old killed, 150 shots fired into North Carolina home. Did you guys read that? Isaiah Figueroa, 4-year-old sister who was grazed in the drive-by shooting in Charlotte, is expected to survive. Oh my God. That is horrible, you guys. A 3-year-old boy was killed and his 4-year-old sister was injured after nearly 150 shots were fired into a North Carolina home, authorities said Wednesday. Shortly before midnight Tuesday, multiple shooters opened a fire in the 2400 block of Richard Roswell. I don't have the kid. See, they didn't even put the kid's name. That is so sick to me. It just says, oh no, his name was Isaiah Figueroa. He's 3 years old. Oh my God, look at this, you guys. I don't know if you guys can see because of the picture. That's him. You know, this is who I fight for. That is unacceptable. So I'm gonna bring in
that is unacceptable. And but then you want to hold what's it called? Gun manufacturers accountable for that instead of the actual murderer or the actual criminal.
Right. Okay. Well, go on. I have to go get tissue. I'm in my kitchen. You guys can't see it, but I can hear you. I want to listen to what you have to say. And if you wanted to say something that Thomas says, or I want to know where you stand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. So I don't know that much about guns in general. I was just gonna ask how you guys felt about like maybe promoting more buyback like type of like programs within like states and stuff to get these like especially like illegal firearms or just firearms that are not really used for much, and providing compensation and no questions asked by doing so. I think that's something.
Buddy.
Okay.
Where have you been in my life? I love you. Muy bonita.
Here's how
program,
I would
hold on.
address that.
Let me just
say
say
go ahead.
The buyback program has been proven to work. And that's what they did in Australia. They confiscated $650,000. 650. I think I'm talking money. 650,000 guns here in Connecticut. I have to tell you, they are doing the buyback program, and they're turning the guns into tools to create gardens to feed the homeless.
That's fantastic.
I'm so
I love to
for
see that like money like reallocated. But yes, what were you gonna say? Tom?
I was going to say, what is the incentive for a criminal to give up their gun illegally when their whole nature right now is to commit crimes and use that gun to suffice their way of living? What's the incentive?
Well, I can tell you right now, and I'll let my sister here speak. That the incentive is you got to know, and a lot of people, especially this pertaining to black on black crime, because it's such a touchy subject, need to understand that why do people join gangs? Why are they into this street life? You know, I don't live that life. I live a very, you know, I can't imagine thinking I have to sell drugs to make $1 or gang bang. I mean, what are you doing in your life to where you have to be a part of a group that's violent? I think one guy just came here the other day and said that in some gangs you have to kill somebody to even get in, blood out. So why do people join these gangs? Well, maybe because
it's easier.
Well, yeah, of course, that's a huge
thing. Gang
so,
life is. I'm not gonna, speak too much on it, but if you're out there selling drugs and gang banging, that's easier than just going to a shitty 9-to-5 job that you don't really like. You do what you want, whatever you want, whenever you want. So it's almost like an easy way out, especially for young kids who don't want to go to school, don't want to do their homework. They say, all right, I can do this. I can make $1,000 in a week. Why do I have to go to school when I can do that right here selling drugs, and I have a gun on me if someone wants to mess with me? It's easier.
So you got it nailed down. So it's easier because it's hard to get a job, even if you're well-to-do. I have a LLC. I have a freaking company where I can hire people. I sell houses. I sold 13 this year, made over 16,000 in gross. But guess what? It's winter and nobody really moves in the winter. So I've even been looking for a little winter job. I can't freaking get no gigs nowhere. It's just freaking hard to get a job. So having that easy access makes it easier for people to get into the nightlife. How much can you get for 10 bags? It's easy freaking money. Who wants to Uber? I did DoorDash the other day just for shits and giggles. Oh my God. I drove all around a town for 10 minutes and only made $2.75. So don't you think money is involved? So the buyback program comes into play. Imagine if you have an illegal gun and you can get $1,000 for it today.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
I
And that's
mean,
another
again,
thing.
if
I'll be
I'm
out there
making
looking for
$1,000,
guns.
if
I'll
I'm
be
making
out
a
there with
thousand
that.
bucks
What's
a
that
week,
thing
I'm
that
not
you
giving
have
up that
when
gun.
you're in the sand and you're looking for gold? I would be out people's knocking on people's doors. You got any guns you ain't using, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Imagine if you put a dollar amount that's worth. Look, somebody just stole my iPhone, man. It's like a mile from my house. That thing's only worth
Jeez.
$250.
You know, absolutely. I was gonna say, I think money definitely does control the world and controls what people do, for better and for worse. So
Mm-hmm.
with installing these types of buyback programs, especially even if you're trying to move away from that life, it can be a lot harder because if you get caught with that illegal gun, that's a felony right there. Like good luck to even, minimum wage jobs that you could have. So it provides a safer outlet. It's like a second route that you could take. And it might not work for anybody, but even if it works for some, that might have saved somebody.
And
That's all that matters.
exactly. Oh God, you keep giving me goosebumps. I hope you do something in life. You are such a great influencer. I have to tell you, you are too, Thomas. You are too. But you remind me of like a counselor or something. Imagine if like my dream would be that let's just say my TikTok blows up one day and people recognize what I'm doing. I would. There are some a nonprofit people, I guess, that I can get to hopefully and get money. I would love to give people money to put awareness in the street. Education with the buyback program could do so much change. Imagine if people like me, you, and Thomas got like $50,000 a year to just go in the neighborhood and pass out pamphlets and tell them the consequences. You said it. A lot of people get into crimes, but they don't really think about the consequences.
The bigger picture.
Yeah, the bigger picture. Maybe they don't really think about it. If you have a felony in this country, you are pretty much shunned out of society. You're not going to be able to get a job. You're not going to be able to live in some neighborhoods. You can't join the military. You can't be a real estate agent. You can't do a lot of things if you're a felon. You can't get a regular job. You can wash dishes at Applebee's. Why risk it?
Well, like I said, it's easier, and even if you get caught and you can't get a normal job, you just do it again. Part of the reason why kids join gangs at a young age is, the lack of family structure that they have. And, I think Obama said it the best: if there's no father in the house, the kid will find a father in the streets.
That's right. So what if we had programs? Outreach programs have been proven to work. Outreach programs, 2% of the time, has shown to lower gun violence deaths. So to heal our country from this public crisis called gun violence. I mean, these little kids are dying, you guys. Honestly, I don't really care about me. I'm 36 years old. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm Black. We tend to die pretty
We
early.
care about you.
Oh, thank you. But I'm saying, like, both my grandmothers died in their 60s from cancer. I don't even smoke, but I really probably got like 30 years left the way I lived in my 20s.
No.
What I care about is why I'm here. Just a thought, like a little 3-year-old freaking die. I'm not. I think people think I just talk out of my ass. Like, I'm looking at a picture of a 3-year-old. Oh, not her. This kid is dead, yo. Are you kidding me? 150 gunshots? That's unacceptable. Why isn't the media talking about this?
What's his
Why
name?
are we freaking? His name is okay. Also, Asiah, Isaiah, Figueroa.
Yep. Got him.
Figueroa.
Damn.
3 years
So
old.
I'm
I would ask. Yes, the 3-year-old being killed is very sad. You don't want to see that. And you ask why the media isn't talking about it. Does it say who the criminal was who committed that crime?
Well, that's what somebody said, but does it matter? It keeps happening.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why isn't you're
It's not
asking
going
why
to
the
be
media
that
isn't
criminal.
covering it?
It's right. Okay.
I'll tell
So
you one thing
information
though,
also
if that criminal was a certain race, it'd be all over the media.
right.
So
It's a problem.
if you want to ask why we're not, or the media doesn't care, eh,
You can claim,
that's
but you
why.
could also claim to say the latter. If the victim was another race, it would also be in all over the media. You can
I mean,
also
let's
claim
talk
the
about
latter.
that chick. What's that white chick, Petito, that went missing, and the whole world went freaking nuts. And she was in a domestic violence dispute. They had her on video
What?
camera. She was dealing with her husband who was beating her. It's like the whole world stopped for Petito. What's her first name?
Gabby, I think.
Gabby. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, part of the reason why the world went crazy for her is because she was already an influencer with a crazy amount of following, and
Mm,
so that a lot of people followed her. A lot of people noticed that she went missing, and when you've
I
got a
heard.
big following, people are going to notice. That's like if
Yeah.
Denzel Washington went missing. I'd be the first one to be asking questions. That he's one of my favorite actors. It's like that. I
interesting.
don't
I'm
think that had to do
sorry.
with anything about race. It's just a circumstance where this girl had a crazy amount of following, and her story spread
How
like
many followers did Gabby
wildfire. Thanks
Petito have?
let's see.
Where are you at work,
Oh,
love?
wait, sorry.
Are you
Oh
are
no,
you
no,
at
no,
work?
that's my uncle. I'm so sorry.
I'm happy that listen, I'm having a really good time talking to you, Thomas, and our new friend C. Scott
Yes,
Scope.
Christina.
Please put Christina. Please follow my friends. Because I find that we keep fighting. People have been coming for me, and it's like you guys just don't understand when we're talking about these kids dying. And actually, Thomas, even though you're conservative, you do seem like you care about these kids. I think the children's safety in this country should come first above anything, above your hunting, above your obsessions. Some people are so crazy about their guns. It's like, I think Governor Gavin Newsom is a really good example. This guy is, I don't know why he's trying to talk about abortions with okay, so I tell me if I'm mistaken. I'll have to look at the article. But basically, I guess Texas, which is like a conservative, whatever, they are basically allowing the civilians to sue Planned Parenthood abortion clinics. What is up with Republicans and talking about abortion? That is so crazy to me. That's like a personal thing, like somebody's
Yeah, no.
decision that we shouldn't. I mean, am I that left to where like is it? What the hell? What? How do you have a debate about abortion? What?
I
Are
can
you
speak on that real quick.
please
I think
explain it to me.
I
I'm
think
getting old.
more of the argument is where it's more of a moral standpoint, and it's more where do you think life begins? And what I hear from a lot of Republicans and conservatives
Yeah,
is, they say life begins at conception. For me personally, I believe life starts at a heartbeat, which
that's
I,
sick.
I believe starts, around 6 weeks.
Oh
Six
God,
weeks.
these no offense, but men don't even know what comes out of our vagina at all. You guys don't want to know. You really don't want to
Yeah.
freaking know. It's kind of amazing that men can talk about what comes out of our vagina. Let me tell you something. I had two abortions because I was dealing with a very abusive guy. I mean, extremely abusive. And I never been in that situation. I could not have a kid with this dude. And do you guys know that when I had my abortion, I never wanted the abortions? Like I'm a Christian. Like I love God. But he for days was tormenting me mentally. So when you're in an abusive
That's fucked up.
relationship, and a lot of women that get abortions are in abusive relationships, I'm letting you know that the women are maternal. Why would we want to kill something that we are meant to freaking procreate? We are natural procreators. That's why we're here. That's why everybody's here. So if a woman's going to go to a clinic, and let me tell you, when you go to the clinic, there's people with their pictures of the dead babies. It's like a horrible freaking nightmare experience, let me tell you. This guy did not want to have a kid with me so bad that when I came home, I said, I know that, he was half Mexican and half white. He had blue eyes. I was like obsessed. Okay, just the idea. Worked out. I mean, he
You
was
have
on
very beautiful
steroids.
eyes.
Oh, yeah, he had very beautiful eyes, but he was
No,
freaking
you do.
crazy. Oh, thank you. But this dude was freaking nuts. So I was obsessed with the idea of us. I was infatuated. I was young. Anyways, he would hurt me all the time. I'm not going to get into it because I have PTSD. But one example, you go through the romance thing. So after you fight, you go through a romance thing. And so we had, made the do, and I was pregnant at the time. It was like 2 days after I find out, and I said, "Can we just keep it?" This is my second abortion from him. I said, "Can we just keep it? Can we just stop fighting? I don't know why we're fighting. Like, I'm in love with you. Like, I want to keep it." He told me he got his D's the night before with some Latino girl that I knew. Then he starts saying, like, getting into detail about it.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
then he
just
started
stupid.
calling
He
me
sounds like a child.
names.
Yeah,
Then he
no.
start. I mean, he was laying down in the bed and he was like calm, but he was like mentally telling me like I'd be a horrible mother. Like you think I want to have a kid with you, and they
That's not
and then
true.
so they mentally warp our mind. I wanted to have the abortion so bad from 2 days of mental abuse that I made him take me, and then when he went in there with me, I made him put the pill in my mouth.
Yeah, no.
And I said I want you to do the abortion, because they let him come in there with me. And then they give you one pill, right? And then you take another pill when you an hour later and you go home, and then you go through contractions like you're having a baby. I'm just trying to tell you, like you're a guy, you're talking about it like it's like an easy thing. I had taken a pill because he put it
No,
in my
I'm
mouth.
just
I went
I'm
home.
telling you
Can I tell
the
you this? This
what.
guy, after we broke up, after the second abortion, I was done. I was done with it. That's all it took. And then he drove like 100 miles with me on a motorcycle and almost killed me. I was done with that guy after that. Oh yeah, it was horrible. Like
Good.
I
I'm
should be
happy for you.
dead.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but
Honestly,
guess what?
congratulations to you. You
I
got
when I
this.
thank you, but when I realized that this guy was no good, you know what? I still kept seeing him because he was like my homie. I don't think you guys realize that. Sometimes we date our homies. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna be with you. You can be whoever you want, but if you want to get lunch or something, I'll do it. And I did. I'd go to
It's
lunch with
fine.
him, and he'd talk about girls he's dating and abusing, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? This guy's just never gonna change. So I'm like completely over him. Do you know he told me like he was like still loving me, whatever, whatever. I'm like, whatever. I don't. It's never gonna happen, bro. I even started calling him a dildo. I was like, you're a dildo. I don't really care. Anyway, he ended up telling me that he has nightmares. He has nightmares of the sounds that I made when I was on the toilet after I took the pill and my uterus opened up and I pooped out yolk out of my vagina.
Yeah, no. It's getting a
Thomas is
pretty
like
drastic.
so ruined. I
That's
hope
like
I
I
hope
got the
you're like
mental
of age.
image.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to do that because I'm going
That's
to share this
sexy.
on YouTube, because I want you guys to understand, like it's not no freaking like, oh, like we want to stop the heart of our embryos. When this thing
Yeah.
came out, it looked like egg without the bones. Like this wasn't a balut. If you guys are Filipino, this was just like it looks like a clot, like a blood clot.
Yeah,
No,
So
no,
when
no.
you're talking about
I
a
understand. I
heartbeat,
understand that you like girls and women go through these emotional scenarios, but I'm just giving you the point of what
I'm a little
conservatives and
emotional, right?
Republicans
Visual
say.
too.
You know, they believe that's where life starts, so that's why they think
Yeah, but
they
that's
need to
crazy.
protect life.
But let's go
Uh,
back to the guns because I'm sweating
Oh wait,
here.
okay.
Oh,
I'm
you
just
gotta
gonna put
go.
this out there. No,
Oh, go ahead.
I'll go
Oh,
in a second, but I'm gonna just
okay.
say this. Like, so it's actually funny. So I'm one of those people who debates abortion, like always on my
Ooh.
thing. It's a mix of
Okay, let me add you. That's fun.
yeah,
Okay,
I
go
already
ahead.
added both of you.
Okay.
But yeah. So I'm very pro-choice, but I also like my reasonings for it are non-political or religious, just because I feel like separation of church and state. Yeah, okay, it's good that you have like your own morals, your own set of things. Like that's the whole point of the choice. You get to choose if you're a Republican and that aligns with your views. That's great, and you still get to choose. But when it comes down to it, I really feel icky about having politics on my uterus, like type of
Yeah.
deal. And it I know it could be like it's a rough learning project like thingy because half the population is male. It's not like they'll
Mm-hmm.
ever learn how to give birth. You can't just learn that. You can only hear about it, or like what I mean, talk to somebody, talk to your mom or something like that about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like my stances will always be pro-choice, and I'm always ready to die on that hill. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's
There
my
Can I
you
ask
go.
thing.
a couple questions then?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
So
I
you're
guess it's
pro-choice
I don't want to.
to always 100%. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so even when the baby is like at eight weeks, yeah, you're okay if for some reason the woman at that time doesn't want the baby anymore, gets the
Mm-hmm.
abortion
Yeah, for sure.
at eight
Uh,
weeks.
yeah, because I
It's her
mean,
body, her choice, man.
I
Yeah.
understand, but at 8 weeks, that's not her body.
So
That's a
I'll say
baby in there.
this.
That's an actual baby.
I will
Eight
say
No,
this.
weeks,
but
you
it's
So
know,
not though. It's an embryo.
yeah.
8 weeks.
So I will say this though. Like
Oh no,
when
no,
it
sorry,
comes
not eight
down
weeks,
to
not 8 weeks. Sorry, like
8 months.
8 months.
My
My
eyes
fault. My
Yeah,
twitching.
fault.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's what I was trying to get at. So I will say
yeah,
this though, like once it becomes to the point where the person with the uterus or the woman's health is at most dire risk and her mortality rate shoots up due to clinical reasons, then I think that there should
yeah,
be
for sure,
different outlets
for sure.
such
But
as I
if
don't
it's
think
not,
anybody. No, 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 but
But there,
it
that
is, I
is in
think.
place legally. You can't get an abortion, I believe, after the second trimester. And actually, somebody just mentioned some facts here. Sheer Flame said 90% of abortions happen in the first trimester. That's very true.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
so like
No,
I feel like
don't get me
no
wrong.
woman.
I'm not pro life 100%. I'm pro choice to a certain extent. Like I
Okay.
said, 8 months. Like
Oh yeah,
that's not
no,
what a lot of people are saying. A clump of cells or that's a baby in there,
for sure, for sure. I, I,
right?
I don't even want to associate it with baby just to keep out like that
Right.
type of whatever. I just like to say like, okay, at that point, I have a baby in me. I can only imagine because I've never been like carried a baby up till 8 months. Okay, I'll tell you that like much about me. But if I were to carry a baby till that much, what in my mind, what would it say about me if I said, hey, let me have them take out this baby, right? Whatever, terminate it, that I was carrying for 8 months, all the symptoms, all the nasties, all the whatever that have my teeth falling out, everything, because that's a symptom of pregnancy. Um, like all this crazy stuff for me to go ahead and say I'm gonna have a risky abortion and also risk dying in the process of doing this. There's
Right.
there's a disconnect. Something bad must have happened. So I think at
Right.
that point we should suit these people with uteruses or mothers or moms or whatever women up with counselors, maybe like kind of like like AA, like how
Right.
you have like a sponsor that you can call, somebody who's been through something similar, like more outreach programs where they could actually talk to
Right.
somebody, help guide them on the right decision to make, because I
And
don't think
keep the
anybody
baby,
makes that decision.
correct?
Well, make the right decision to make. Obviously, if it means that there's like more than a 50% chance that this person's going to die, give them their options, tell them that this is
Right.
what's going to happen, because this is
Yeah,
like
but if there's no medical condition where the mom would suffer and she just
oh, there
wants it
is
out of her, right? Um,
even
so then
perfect
you
pregnancies
are
to
pro
give birth
life to
you
an
die.
extent then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to say it like that, but like at the most risky, most absurd type of things. Again, it's still her choice to make if you want to, mess with
Yeah.
your
This is
chances that
America.
bad. But like
Why is it
again,
okay
I
for?
think,
Yeah. Go. I'll let you finish your point.
and then I feel
No,
bad.
no,
I
I
don't want to
love it.
take
This is actually your thing. I love it.
this is my thing. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I just like having a platform where we just debate all the time. I don't know. I had five brothers
I
and
love that.
sisters. I don't mind arguing with you
Oh,
guys.
it's awesome.
But my thing is this, like, there are so many factors that goes into somebody to want to have an abortion. How about what if the baby isn't able to function? What if the baby was born without, limbs and might be blind and probably brain dead? Therefore, there needs to be an abortion to abate this child living this horrible life. If you make it illegal to have these abortions, it's going to make it hard for so people are going to be forced to have the baby come into the world and have this horrible life. Sometimes you have to get abortions. What if the woman is uterus? What if there's like some medical condition the woman is going through that she doesn't want to, like maybe she can't have, maybe she has like a blood thinning of the blood, which some girls have when they're pregnant. And the like my sister, every time she has a baby, she almost dies because she loses so much blood. She hemorrhages. So what if somebody accidentally gets pregnant and has to get an abortion due to medical reasons, not because she wants to kill the baby, because she wants to live? Do you know how many women have died for having babies? Okay,
Oh
what
yeah, a
if she
lot.
has an autoimmune disease? I mean, there's so many cases where women have these kids and can't even give the birth because it's not something you all. To me, I had three kids. I felt like I was going to die every time. I was like, this is it. It's like going on a plane. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Okay, so there is a risk factor. Poverty could be the issue. What I'm saying is, people don't just get, especially women, we don't just get abortions. There are extreme factors of why we do it. Also, we do it very early. No woman waits till 8 months.
Yeah, like
And in fact, I believe after the 6 months, you can't get an abortion. There are
yeah,
laws
it's
in
like very
place.
risky.
These women that are getting abortions, like Candace Owens said that black women are murdering their babies at high rates. She is so freaking batshit crazy. Let me tell you something. The black women in this country have been plagued with men, especially black men, who have over sexualized themselves. Okay, I'm talking. They are serial f boys. That is very common. And I talked to two black guys yesterday that admitted that's why we have a missing father because they are serial daters. Okay, so could
Yep,
you
that's
imagine?
correct.
For me, I had a missing father. My father has 6 kids, 2 sisters I never met in freaking California right now. I have 5 brothers and sisters, and we don't know our dad. He calls me every now and then, but I have never met him. I have never met I met this guy one time when I graduated. That's it. I don't
That's
know. And,
crazy.
and even my brother, he keeps having all these kids. And maybe that's why I've never been with a black guy because I never wanted that type of heat, dealing with multiple baby mamas and things like that. So there's a reason why I'm just talking about black women get abortions because we don't want to put our kids to the missing father. And a lot of
Mandatory vasectomy for all men.
so I just want you to open your
Clown.
eyes to see that
You
it's
realize
not
if we
just
all
like we
get
want to kill our
vasectomy,
babies. Like it's
the human race cease to exist?
I'll sign off on this though. Like another thing that I
okay.
also talk about in my abortion thing is that I am okay. Well, I first of all love black women to the fucking. I mean,
Thank you.
to the death of me. To the death of
All
me is
right.
basically how I feel. That I love my black sisters very much,
That's
and in
what's
the
up.
state I am, I just look at the way that the medical system consistently f's them. So not only will
Yeah.
banning abortions primarily target people
Yeah.
in black communities and
Yeah.
people of color, especially black women though, because those are the
Yeah.
people that are most marginalized. And
Yes.
it's absolutely absurd. Like for instance, in my state, New Jersey, it's supposed to be a blue state, right? We're supposed to be like
Right.
a liberally state. Um, if you look at the statistics, just from literally any census, what's it called? I think Gallup does it well for statistics and whatnot, especially medical ones. Black women are disproportionately getting killed by our medical system from giving birth, let
Yeah.
alone getting abortions. So
Right.
in itself, like by forcing black women to have going to give birth, you're already systematically screwing them into possibly dying because the system isn't clean. So that's it. All right, that's all I want to
Uh,
say. I'm gonna talk more
who's
on it
running for
later though.
governor? Who's running for governor? I'm telling you, you're on your way. Thank you so much for
Yeah, no
coming. I'm
problem.
a fan. I'm
Oh, thank
following
you
you.
so much. I already followed you, so I
Okay,
hope to see
good.
you soon. And
Wow, that
nice
was really
talking to you too,
eloquent.
Thomas.
Hey, you might be the next AOC. Who knows?
Maybe.
Thank
Oh,
you.
please, no.
Oh, look at that. Okay, you still hanging out with me, Thomas? I'm gonna
Yeah,
add.
sure. We can talk about
There's
another
one,
topic. I got a
two, three,
couple more
four.
minutes.
Okay, all right. Let's see. I'll just put the next person in line. Wow, you guys have been patient too, waiting. When I have a good conversation with people, I like to, give them the floor. Hello, are you there? EJB Film, are you there? Are you there? Going once. You're gonna get timed out. All right. Maybe he just is like, okay. All right. So we'll bring on somebody else. Moving right along. I did want to make a point with you though. Oh, did Thomas leave? Oh no, you didn't. What we were talking about is California governor says he will use. I'm talking about Governor
Guns.
Gavin. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about guns. California. We did derail and talk about abortions because this is why. California governor says he will use legal tactics of Texas abortion ban to implement gun control. So there is a tactic that they're using in Texas pertaining to abortions and in banning them because it's a conservative state, gun loving state, you know what I mean? Um, but so the governor of California is saying, well, if you're going to do that, well, we're going to do the same thing pertaining to gun control. So that's why he's enacting a plan to allow citizens to sue these gun manufacturers that are selling these very high, overkill style assault rifles in semi-automatics. I
When you
don't
say
think he's
gun
talking about the.
manufacturers, do you mean the gun stores that are selling these guns, or the
So
actual manufacturer that are creating these guns in a
I
warehouse
think,
somewhere and then
yeah,
shipping them
If it's
somewhere else? You know?
following if it's following Texas's example, then it would literally be both.
okay.
because the Texas abortion ban is literally allowing private citizens to sue not only not only the doctors who did the abortion, but anybody who helped get you to the abortion clinic.
Okay, because
That makes sense.
that's the new law, right? But there isn't.
Yeah, the Governor Gavin is really winning pertaining to this fight here. And I'll just read it. California Governor Gavin Newsom expressed his outrage Saturday. He's talking about the Supreme Court. So this is what the highest court in our country. The Supreme Court made a decision to allow the Texas 6-week abortion ban to remain in effect. Can you believe that? So to allow the Texas 6-week abortion. So I do want to figure out what that is. Does that mean that you can't get an abortion
After 6 weeks.
After
after
six,
six weeks? Oh,
because they're pulling that fetal heartbeat bullshit, which is nonsense. Because at 6 weeks, it's not what we would whatever what we actually medically define as a heart. It is a pulse, and that noise you hear is literally feedback from the machine. It is not a genuine heartbeat.
wow. I remember talking to you. You're so smart. I love it. Okay, so let's see. Texas 6-week. And this is why I love doing this, by the way, because if I don't know anything, when we talk to each other, we really teach each other things. It's so great. Texas 6-week abortion ban to remain in effect and said he would use similar legal tactics to tackle gun control in his state. So you guys have to understand, you know what I see with this? I'm like, dang, the governor actually has a lot of power. Wow. So that's why we need to know who our governors are in our own state. Therefore, maybe we can write them and
Hang
ask them
on,
to
who is
adopt.
the typical white woman exactly? I'm black,
Oh,
you
what is
idiot.
the typical white woman? Oh, somebody thought you were white because you're educated. That's disgusting. Somebody said, I think this is Newsom. I am outraged by yesterday's U.S. Supreme Court decision allowing Texas ban on. Do you think this is a tactic, though, for Governor Gavin Newsom to push his agenda? I mean, why is there, can somebody please explain to me, why is there a compare and contrast with abortion to gun control? Is it because it's working for the abortion? So therefore, we think that we can implement the same with gun control? Like, I don't get the
It's not.
comparison.
I don't think it's really the abortion itself. I think it's the fact that
I think
it's
that it's strict.
it's
That's why.
allowing private citizens to do this and sue people, and it's not up to
Oh.
the government body doing it.
So it's basically the state, because the state usually has control. And I've noticed this in real estate too, as I'm in school in broker's class, that the state usually has the control, but the state usually passes the control to a smaller sector. Instead of the state, the governor worrying about it, he's basically allowing the people to worry about it. And that makes sense because gun laws vary from state to state. So, if people in Texas want their guns, guess what? No manufacturers are going to be sued. But guess what? If people are in liberal cities, guess what? It's going to happen. So you really got to know where you are, right? So, anyways, he's got like this huge plan. I mean, do you guys know anybody else in the game that's doing big things like this? Like
Mm,
any other governors that are doing anything pertaining to gun control?
Not really.
Yeah. So, in the light of the Supreme Court's decision, Newsom said he directed his staff to draft a bill that would allow private citizens to seek injunctive relief against anyone who manufactures, distributes, or sells an assault rifle, not rifle, an assault weapon, excuse me, or ghost gun kit, or, excuse me, parts in the states of California. So somebody kept telling me that there's no such thing as assault rifle. Have I been saying it wrong? Assault. What is? I'm going to Google it. What is assault rifle? Because why do people keep saying that here? Are you guys trying to confuse me? Because it says people ask what makes it assault rifle. Is an AR-15? Let's see what it says. Assault rifle is a military firearm that is chambered for ammunition of reduced size of propellant charge and that has the capacity to switch between semi-automatic and fully automatic fire. Yo, there is such thing as an assault rifle. What y'all be talking about? Am I losing you guys?
No, I mean, I came on to talk about that point, and then you had another point behind your screen about it, about
Oh, disproportionately affecting the black community.
yeah, and then I just wanted to um, say to that, at what point do we have or do we hold people accountable for their actions?
Right. So it's a huge problem, and I'll show you guys some of the stats here. Um, I continue to share this so that people know that I'm not making it up. So this is the homicidal disproportionately affecting black. So this is the rate. So it's like 10 or 20, 30, whatever, like population, whatever.
Yep,
This is how much more black people are doing homicides in this country.
yep.
This is white people, black people, Hispanic. Not Hispanics aren't even killing each other at this rate. We are dominating homicidal rates.
And
Okay.
then I would ask that's where I would ask, why do you think that happens?
Okay.
And
Well,
I kind of brought up a point earlier. I don't know if you caught it,
go
but
ahead.
I believe that happens because there is a lack of family structure
Right.
in the black community compared to whites and Latinos. You look at the single mother rate in the black community; it's at 75%.
Right.
Uh, you know, it's the highest of uh, whites, Latinos, Asians in this country, and that's a huge problem. Um, and then again, I always say, at what point do we hold people accountable? If you're not raising your kid, that's your problem. I don't believe that's the system's problem. If
Okay,
you
so
aren't a good
No.
parent, that is not someone else's problem. That's your problem.
okay, so my thing with the whole absent father myth in the black community thing, like studies have actually been done on that, and the reason it looks like it's so high is because it goes off of marriage rates, and marriage rates are not a good indicator to say whether or not you are involved in your kids' lives. Like
Hmm.
how many people are married and the fathers don't know jack shit about their kids.
Right. I have to say though, and this is when I'm going to start. Whenever I talk about black on black crime, I just get attacked. So please don't hate me. But I have to say the reason why I do agree with the missing fathers because I have a missing father, even though I know where he is, and it's like a trend. It happened to my mother. Again, I have never been with a black guy, and sometimes I didn't even realize that maybe I forced myself to basically change my environment around to where, black guys really weren't around me because, well, one, they always liked white girls when I was around them. They loved white girls, and I've noticed the missing father, and not it's in my life. My father had two, let's see, four daughters. Me, my two sisters, and two sisters I never met in California that are older than us. And he's not even in our lives. He calls me once every 6 months. I never even met this dude physically. Candace Owens also has a missing father. I mean, it is a problem. And by not this, to say, this is what I'm finding out in the black community, okay, is the mere fact that there's a lot of excuses made for
Yep.
things that we know are happening. I don't see that, and I don't want to make white people look any better because they're dominating mass shootings. Okay, so imagine that. Imagine having the privilege of being white in America, going to good schools, and your kid and doing everything you can for your child. Your child goes to school and dies at lunchtime because somebody got kicked off their bike in kindergarten. Can you imagine that? So it's not to demonize black people, but we have to acknowledge that this isn't made up. You can't make up homicide. And why is this happening? Why are black people, well, one, black people are going to always do crime with black people. There's going to be black on black crime, white on white crime, Mexican on Mexican crime. It's just crime because due to proximity. But we can't address proximity crime if we don't address our our racial issue with each other. Like this is a problem within the black community
And
where
what
we
issue
are
would that
killing
be?
each other.
What's the
Uh,
Okay, but like
racial issue?
even in
but
your own
you don't think it's a
article,
missing father?
Like
I
even
honestly
in the
agree with you
article
though.
that
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
have above you, it
Right.
says Black and Latino people in historically underfunded and overlooked communities.
Yeah, that's the
So it's
reason.
not so it's not like, oh, Black people are doing this thing because Black people are just going to do this thing. That's not
Right.
the case.
Right. There's a
It's the
reason
lack.
behind it.
It is the lack of resources a lot of Black communities do not have, and
Right.
historically that is because white people have created laws and policies to keep us in certain sectors.
Okay, I agree with you 100%. Please know that before I say this. But we don't have to kill each other.
Thank you. And can I add to one thing real quick?
And we do.
You
And
said
and
you
and
said
I have to, but let me just say this. I have to say we because I'm black. So while I'm not killing anybody, I'm totally anti-gun. I don't want to see a gun ever in my life. The only gun I want to see is on a cop that's abiding by the laws and not killing
yeah,
black men
Segregate
disproportionately.
exactly
yourselves. It's
correct.
not the white's fault. Please look up redlining.
Okay, hold on.
Okay,
Can
And
I
so
address
also
that real
one,
please,
quick?
okay,
Can
hold
and
I
on.
also
address that?
please, and please
Okay,
look up how
right.
schools
This is
now
this
are
is
actually how schools now and for the last set and for like over a decade are actually more segregated now than they were during Jim
okay.
Crow.
Okay.
This is why I'm like the best person for this argument because I am a licensed realtor.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
I
was gonna
am
say. I
t-
was gonna hand it
and
over to you
anybody
real
can
quick.
talk about redlining, but I have to tell you, it's been illegal since 1968.
I think
That's right
56, but something
after
like that. Yeah.
no, 1968. That was on the
Let me
test.
see.
Yeah, go look that up. But
Let me look it up.
it's been illegal since 1968, and the reason why I always remember that is because it happened right after the Civil Rights Act from 1965. So, yes, it was happening for a long time, right? But it's been a long time since they have made it legal for us to get
Ah, yes. Correct.
mortgages. Yeah, I passed the test and I'm about to take it
Yeah.
again. So this is my problem, isn't
1968
it?
isn't really that long of a time though.
No, I get that. Listen, I understand that we have been oppressed in this country and still systemically. But my problem is we have been oppressed for so long, we don't realize we're not anymore.
Yes.
But that's the other thing. You have hundreds and hundreds of years of oppression and systemic
Right,
racism. Like the
right.
damage that has caused is
I
not going to
agree.
go away in only a
I,
couple decades.
I agree.
There has
Um.
I
been some
absolutely agree.
improvement, but the overarching damage is just not going to vanish.
Which is right, which is why when I say that I support reparations, I'm not saying that I want America to give us just money. When I think about reparations, repairing of the wrongdoing of our people for centuries, 246 years of slavery and oppression for 400 plus years, I believe even still to this day, systemically, when I think of reparations, I think of education being free, at least for the first 2 years. I mean, imagine how much education we could have. The people say, well, Donald Trump gave hundreds of thousands to black colleges. No, we need money in high school. Our kids need money early so that they can be educated financially and they can understand that they can get mortgages.
Can
It's
I say
so,
something real quick?
yeah,
So what she was saying about how the communities are underfunded, and I was gonna pass it on to you
they
because you're a
are.
realtor.
Yeah,
Part of the reason they're underfunded is because of the crime rate. Yeah,
yeah.
and you look at schools. Where do schools get the majority of their funding? Property taxes.
Yes,
If there is high crime in an area, property value goes down. So
yes.
that doesn't help. What's it
Yeah,
called? The
but you want
funding
to
for
know
schools.
you're on a roll, but you want to know what black people think, and it could be true, but I really don't think it is. The more I really think about just like facts and not emotions, white people think they call it white flight. So white flight, black people have built this narrative over time, and it could be true. I do believe that there is some truth to it, but I think we give too much energy into it a little bit. White flight is an idea that when more than 3 or 4 black people move onto a block, the property value goes down. Now, I'm going to tell you this. What makes a price on a house, and real estate has everything to do with our communities being damaged, okay? Real
Hmm.
estate has a lot to do with it. Is supply and demand. So I'm a realtor. So as you know, so when I have a listing and I'm looking at the price, I look at the comps,
Yep.
right? And so the comps will tell me what people are buying for the property. And how do people get the price if the prices are going to go up and down? Right now, prices are very high because there's low inventory, which means
Yep.
people aren't moving, and there are a lot of people trying to move there. So that's what jacks up the price: low inventory and high demand. Okay.
But
And
what also affects the price is uh things in the area,
right.
high
So
crime.
that's the
So,
demand. So that's demand. So that's people wanting to move to an area or not wanting to move to an area.
yep.
So we are only 13% of the population. I really want to challenge anybody to understand, why do black people live in congested cities? If you think about it, we're 13% of the population, but we dominate these really congested areas. I
Yeah,
mean,
inner
there's not
cities.
enough, especially inner cities. Why is that? I believe that that's an incubator for black people. They put stuff that they know we're going to buy and use and keep us there. So to me, the red lines aren't mortgages. The red lines are in our minds, and the red lines are in our
Yep.
planning and zoning. So we got to get involved in our town, and we got to stop allowing them to build these incubators that are creating hubs, incubation for crime.
Yep.
Why do criminals like cities more so than rural areas? Because there are lots of houses, lots of cars. They
More
like to
access to
still
commit crime.
yes, access is easy to commit crime. People say, well, our communities are being over policed, but are they really policing? Are they just collecting the check eating donuts? And if
Yeah,
you
we need more
dare
policing and better
freaking
policing in those
Yeah,
areas.
no, because no.
Yes.
Over policing is a massive problem. I don't know if you ever heard of the broken windows theory,
I
but
would love to hear about
but
it.
the broken windows theory is that if you over punish small crimes, like say you drive through, like say a cop drives through a neighborhood and they see a broken window, like you just go in on small things like that, and that is supposedly, big fat quotation marks, supposed to deter larger crime, but that's
Okay,
never
No,
worked.
I wouldn't say, but that's
okay.
not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to over police and go after petty crimes. I'm saying over police so that way we have more police officers on the streets. Yeah, so that way criminals aren't out there just doing whatever they want. Knowing
Right,
that there's more police in the area, knowing that they
right,
wouldn't be able to get away with whatever crime they're
right.
thinking about
Like
doing,
But that's
stricter
would
laws.
assuming the
limit.
police actually give a shit about doing their jobs
And
properly, and most of them
that's
don't.
That
why I
too.
said we need better policing,
But
and
yeah.
And
that's
here's my thing with that. You would have to fire basically all cops
no.
for this to really work. Yes, you would,
I
because
would not do that.
you cannot leave the current policing structure in place. You can't, because
And what is the current
hang
policing
on,
structure?
because policing originated with slave catchers. That's the origins of the cops.
But
They
that's not
started
what
off
they are
as slave
now.
catchers.
That's not what they are
How
now.
is it really any different now? The cops
Yeah, so
over
I think what
police
she's
and
trying to
over
say is
arrest
that okay, but
black and brown people as it still stands now. They keep doing that
okay, but can
despite
I
the
say
fact.
No.
this? Can I say this? If, and I do believe what you're trying to say is that we have to get the root of the problems systemically, and the systems that have been in place, right, still to this day, not only in the police department, but really every type of state system has never changed from the beginning. I don't know why they think America's going to be great again. It never really changed that much. But what I'm saying is, if we have more policing, like this has been an argument that I don't agree or disagree with, that our city or our neighborhoods, black specifically, are being over policed. But if they're over policed, wouldn't that make our cities safer? Wouldn't that make our neighborhoods
No,
safer? Why is
no,
it
because
that
it
in
doesn't
black
act because it
communities,
doesn't
why
actually.
is it that in black communities where we are being over policed, we are doing 3, 4, 5, 10 times more crime?
But that's because that is the product of the over policing, because it makes it seem like black people are just doing these much higher rates of crime because people are getting arrested at those much higher rates than what's
Okay,
actually happening.
true.
Because
But it is
Okay,
actually happening.
the thing
okay.
is with this,
But why are we doing the
I
crime
highly
though?
encourage.
But why
Huh?
are we doing the crimes? And this is my argument with that, because I'm not disagreeing
Crime
with you.
mainly happens because of poverty. That is the main
Okay,
thing with any crime.
so that's the issue, though. It's the mere
Yep.
fact that Okay, we have our reasons, but we really got to stop being criminals.
Then you would have to fix poverty.
Well, you
Or
fix
why?
poverty when you have a
Listen,
strong family structure and you can
there's
build
some
generational
freaking
wealth.
there's some dude in Africa right now living in a hut, taking care of
Yep.
his family and not freaking breaking the crimes.
Yep.
And
And
there are
I
plenty
would
of poor
say
and there are plenty
immigrants.
of poor people in America that
I,
don't commit crimes.
I would
But the
say
point
immigrants.
still
Oh, go
stands
ahead.
that crime and poverty go hand in hand. It's not
Okay, true story, but we're
it is
doing
not
a lot of homicides. Sis, look at this. What do white people not deal with poverty? And there's more of them. They're
Yep.
actually more so on welfare
I'm not
than
saying
black
that, but
people.
you also have to take those numbers with grains of salt, because if you look at exoneration rates, black people make up 47% of all exoneration rates. And when you break that down even further, black people are 7 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of murder
Yeah, but
than white
we're
people.
still okay. So yes, there are exonerations, but at the same token, you got to look at these stats and understand that some of this has got to be true. Like,
Yeah.
so you just don't believe
We
that
need
that
accountability at some point.
yeah,
I'm
like
not saying there is I'm not saying that there isn't I'm not saying that there isn't higher crimes there. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but you still have to look at all of the factors, because simply just saying, "Oh, black people are committing these higher rates of crime,"
we
and
but
then not looking into all the factors that could lead up to it, and not seeing if there are anything that could skew these numbers is important.
Okay, well then
okay, but
this is
then that just leaves room for more excuses
excuses.
on why black
Exactly.
people are killing black people. I mean, I can sit here and tell you all day that we have oppression, we had redlining, we had the black code, we had our when we were doing good with the Black Wall Street in Oklahoma and Tulsa, they freaking bombed us. Like, I understand that things get in our way, but we also get in our way.
and again, this is where I like to use or address this argument is where immigrants and specifically Latinos are doing better than blacks in this country. Um, Latinos don't even speak English as their first language, and we have a stronger family structure, and we have a higher high school graduation rate than blacks in this country.
Okay,
Like
so let me okay,
that's and
have Latinos
we
faced
come from
anywhere
poor
close to the same
countries.
level of oppression as black people? No,
Hold
they
on. Again,
haven't.
there's
If you
there's the
Again, that's
excuse.
still a lot of like
What
excuses.
does a kid born in 2020 or even in 2000, what oppression does that kid experience compared to what actual oppression was uh in the 50s or 40s and 30s? Like there's no excuse anymore,
Right. Well,
right?
listen, there is an excuse.
because black men are still looked at as threats just for
Right.
existing.
Right. That's true. Listen, I understand that there's so many reasons why the crime rates are so high, homicidal rates are so high. And what I try to do is be as realistic as possible. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I would feel safe in Chicago. From what I'm hearing, you don't want to go to Chicago. And
Or
when I
even
talk to,
Baltimore.
or even Baltimore or Louisiana. Actually, did you guys know that Louisiana has high gun rate? Alaska as well as Alabama right now, the high gun states. Everybody talks about capitals, but they don't talk about the state. Right now, Alabama is actually known for the most gun violence in Louisiana. Like, it's terrifying. But what I want to say is we cannot continue on in this country making excuses on why we break the law, why we
Yep.
don't take care of our kids, why our cities and towns look like freaking dumps.
Why we're not graduating high
But
school
going
when something it's so basic
the
and free to do.
the black high school graduation rate is 80%. But going back to
And
Chicago thing, like the
Latinos?
only time uh it is also around that same number.
Thank you. And we don't even speak English as our first language. And we're doing just as well as someone who was born here.
Right.
Great, but that still
Is
doesn't
Because you
change
is
got,
the
that not
fact
okay,
that
embarrassing?
that still doesn't
because
change the fact that Hispanics have not faced the same level of oppression.
but
That's
they
a
have
that is
though, but they really
but
have
not
though.
for but not the same level, and not for nearly as long.
Then explain
I
to me this.
Hispan
What
it's
I'm
Hispanics were
Latino.
never
I'm
not
Latino.
considered a person.
I'm Latino.
but listen,
What does a black
do
kid my age
okay.
have to what oppression does he have over me?
Right.
The fact that he
Today.
is still considered by society a threat simply
Right.
by existing. That a
So
black
yeah.
Who
man
says that?
cannot that a
Well,
black
the
man can
world
that a black man
actually,
can't wear a
the world
hoodie, that
actually.
a black man
Yeah.
can't simply walk down the street, that a black child cannot play in the
Okay.
fucking park with a toy
Right.
gun without a
Okay.
cop pulling up and shooting him
Yeah.
2 seconds after getting there and never getting out of his car.
That
You're
wasn't a
absolutely
one. That
right.
wasn't a cop, and two,
Yes,
Well, no,
it
yes,
listen,
was.
I'm
that
not
was
going to make
horrible,
excuses for that.
but that
Trayvon Martin, that
happened.
was horrible.
That
But
happened
listen, can I
once.
say
I'm talking
something real quick?
the child in the park. I'm talking about Tamir Rice. That was a
Yeah.
cop who pulled up
Oh,
on
I'm
him
sorry,
who
Tamir Rice.
shot
I'm
him.
sorry. There's so many. Let me tell you something. Listen, I agree with you, and I love your passion. I agree with you. But sis, how can we tackle the issues within our own communities if we keep blaming white people? Because they're not going to fix our towns. They're not going to move in our towns. They're not going to invest in our communities until we are deemed um,
It's always
investable.
easier to come up with
You know what I'm saying?
excuses than
If
be
that's, I'm
accountable.
about to create a word. Do you understand that we are a minorities? We are minorities, and we're not changing the way our cities look. We're not like education. When Indian people come here, I'm telling you, they're almost all of them get degrees. I have an
It's
Indian friend
culture.
that I
It's
talk to on
culture.
here.
It's not
Culturally, they
culture,
are.
though. It's
A
not
hun-
culture. Like
It's a
a
Come
lot
hundred
of
on,
the
percent
things
man.
culture.
is
Asian
because
people
a
are
lot of
super disciplined when it comes to
Yep.
education. Black people are
Yep.
not.
That's all culture right there.
They are
how is it
extreme.
called
I grew up.
when
Listen,
you look
I'm
at
from
the
Hawaii.
when you look
I'm
at the
telling
types of
you, they're crazy
immigration
about their
visas
education.
that get out, they are already looking for the people who have
That's
money,
true.
who have
That's
degrees.
absolutely
They're
true.
looking for
That's
those
absolutely true.
people to come
That's
here.
true.
That's
Yes,
very
and my
different
Indian
than
friend.
some.
Okay, okay. My Indian
Okay.
friend said that's true, but does that change the idea that they have high standards
Yeah.
pertaining to education?
But
It's
you would
just
get that
culture.
exact same thing from but you would get the exact same thing from an African immigrant.
Okay, but we're not talking
What?
about
No,
African
African
immigrants. We're talking
immigrants,
about
when they come to
black
this
people in
country, have that
Chicago and
same
Baltimore.
culture of being disciplined and being sturdy with education. That's why they
Can,
come to this
can,
country,
can
not
I
to
just have
waste
a
that
have a
time,
moment real
man.
quick because this is such a good conversation. I hope you're not getting mad because I'm
No, go
not
ahead. Go ahead.
disagreeing with you. I am solution driven, so I'm just trying to get to the solutions. As an African American woman that I am, although I've never been with a black guy in a relationship, my mother was with black men, and from what I noticed in my life growing up, I have PTSD today. I was abused. There was a day, my stepfather, a black guy in the military, beat me and my five brothers and sisters on a day to day basis. He left my mom when I was 12, bro. Like being black in my family was dealing with my mom's crazy antics, my stepfather beating me until I had blood dripping down my legs. It really wasn't that great being an African American little girl in a black family in America. I am sorry. It was horrible. I used to beg my girlfriend, who I played basketball with, to go to her house. She's a white girl. I was the only black girl in my whole entire town, which is why people think I'm whitewashed, because I was the only black girl in my radius. And let me tell you something. I used to beg to go to her house. And what I saw in her house and what I lived on a day to day basis, comparable, she was living in heaven and I was living in hell. My mom beat me every single day. My stepdad they terrorized us. Lots of drinking, lots of partying. Now, one thing my mom did do was make sure we lived in good neighborhoods, which I appreciate that. That's why I had a good education background. But the lifestyle of being black in America to me was horrible. And that's why I was happy when my mom left his ass and we went back to Hawaii. And guess what's in Hawaii? Like 90% Asians. So, I've always been a minority. I've always been the one black girl in my whole school, always. And what I learned being culturally inclined, I mean, could you imagine living in Michigan? I'm a military brat. I was born in Alaska, raised in Hawaii, and lived in Michigan, and now I live in Connecticut. And what I have learned is that most of my life was in Hawaii. That's where I grew up. Majority of my life, now probably like 80% of my life. Asian people dominate that island. They all are crazy. It was hard going to high school with all these different types of Asians that are all A students. Their lifestyle, some of my girlfriends, they would study for hours. I just don't see that in our culture. education isn't really a priority in our culture. You know what's in our culture? Always like putting up a front. Like that's what I
Yep.
feel. Like I always gotta have
100%.
like I don't wear wigs anymore since I've been with my fiance. He made me feel beautiful enough to just be myself. Which I don't know how he did that, but I barely buy wigs. You know how much money I save? Do you know how much money I save by just not buying wigs and then eyelashes and having to? I had two black girlfriends my whole life, and both of them were so superficial. And the one that I had previously, which I loved her to death, was a pathological liar, was on Section 8, had one son, and was getting child support, but had a whole freaking shop in her house. And she did other things.
So you
I
just
know
gave
this.
a
She
great
was.
point
And
right
look,
there.
So you want me to
I'm not
lie about my
discrediting.
black girlfriends? And even in my life, I'm not living that lifestyle, but I have black girlfriends that are living some crazy ass lifestyles.
Look, I'm
Dangerous. And
not
they always trying to put
discrediting
me into the
your
situation.
experience. I'm
Thank
not
you. But
discrediting your experience. It is 100% your
I'm not
experience.
I'm not gonna lie
But
about
But
it.
it's also
I haven't
facts.
really
no,
seen
and
good things
that is
coming from
and
black
that is
people.
perfectly fine. And it is 100% perfectly fine. But you are a very intelligent woman, and you should know that your experience is not going to be
I know.
universal for everyone's.
Okay.
That certainly
But
wasn't my
why
experience
can't it?
growing up as a black
But
woman
it is very
at all.
common. It is very common for black people to, like, for instance, I have seen, this is my experience, that a lot of black people, this is why I never wanted to be like my mother. So anything that she did, I don't do. I still remember, I'm 36 years old. I remember food stamps. Now they give you a card. But I remember food stamps. We'd have like these little books, and we used to feel rich and go to the grocery store and buy all this food. I mean, welfare is quite common in the black community as well as white community. But what I have seen different is that black people are hustlers. So they use the state assistance and have full on businesses running in their house or even outside their house. Barbers, hairstylists, sell clothes, maybe even all these entrepreneur jobs. So we just look like we're broke, but we're really not. I really don't think any black person is broke because guess what? How many of those girls are strippers? How many of those guys sell cars on the side or sell dime bags or do street life stuff or get money under the table? I mean, these are some serious things that are going on in our community. Like this one chick that I know, and Latinos do it too. Latinos do it too because I got a Latina girl right now trying to sell me her food stamps. That's like when they give you give them like $200. No, you give them like $200 and they'll give you like $400 worth of freaking food stamps. That's some hood stuff right there. There are things that go on in our communities that we have to change. We have to make education a priority. You sound very educated. I'm pretty sure you have a few degrees or on your way to get them, one or the other. So I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about us as a whole race. I really
As a
don't
community,
see,
what
and
do y'all need
as
to
a
focus on?
community, we instead of focusing on like going to concerts and rap music.
Like
I
you
mean,
said, putting up a
this
front.
is a this is a, putting up a front. This is a stereotype. I know that not all black people live like this, but I'm talking about in these high crime,
Inner cities.
condensed inner cities.
Yep.
Having a nice car is like you'll see like black guys. Even in Hawaii, there's not a lot of black people in Hawaii, but the black guys that are in Hawaii are pimps. You guys don't know this. If you go to Hawaii, you're not going to see the high life that you see on HGTV. In my town, Waikiki, most of the black guys are either in the military or they're yelling at girls, pimping them. And they all have nice ass cars. Nice.
So
There was this one,
you are
I'm
going
from
to
an
have people
island,
that are
so
terrible with money. You are going to have people who are terrible with their money and don't use it well.
how
100%.
can, yeah. So when you talk about
But I am a
poverty,
big
I'm like, are we
proprietor.
really? So well, I just want to say this real quick and I'll let you speak. Are we really poverty? Because I really don't see black people broke.
There are plenty of broke black people. It
I
does
don't
is
see
there
them.
when you have people and you have black people that are just bad with their money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree. There are black people out there that will definitely be putting up a front that they'll have expensive ass shit, but shit in their house be broke and it's been broke for like 6 months.
Right.
100%. But black people aren't the only ones that do that.
Right. But we're talking about black on black crime and due to proximity pertaining to the
Which is why
gun.
I don't call it black on black crime. Crime
Right.
is
But we
based on
have to.
proximity.
But listen, if we don't say our race, how do we deal with crime within our race?
again, it's not because it's not the crime within our race, because that makes it sound like if you are a certain race, you are more likely to do more crime, and that's not the
But
case.
it's true though. We are killing each other at high rates per stats. But it's
But we
so
are saying that we are saying that there is a decent amount of Black people who are in poverty or they live in impoverished areas.
right. So my
And
solution,
a way
yeah, go ahead.
to fix it, like you said, like we shouldn't focus on reparations. I do not agree with that. I believe Black people should get
Wow, I'm
reparations,
surprised you
not
saw
only
me.
in the form, not just in the form of financial compensation, because that is a lot of money. Granted, you are going to have people that waste that money 100%. But but I do believe most would spend it better, if not only to improve their own lives personally, but to improve their neighborhoods,
Right.
because a lot of the neighborhoods are underfunded, and you have people that want to do things for their community but do not have the funds to put into it. Like, do you know how much the unpaid labor alone that Black slaves put into this country? Not even
Yeah.
just the profits, just the unpaid labor.
I don't know
It
the
is
number, but
estimated to it is estimated to be $14 trillion that
wow,
was put
that's
into this
amazing.
country.
And you don't believe
So
in reparations?
that would mean every Black descendant of a slave, every man, woman, and child would realistically get a check for over $500,000. Let me
From
give you
who
five
though?
hundred
From
thousand
who?
dollars.
From who? Who they gonna
The
get that
government,
money from?
the
Where does the
government.
government get that money from?
Yeah, it's gonna be taxes. But guess what?
Okay,
Every other group this country has admitted to fucking over got reparations. The Jews
That's
got
true.
reparations. The Japanese
So,
Americans got
so you do
reparations.
agree with
The
it?
indigenous people got reparations. They all got reparations in one way or another, and that came from tax money.
Yeah. But listen, more than reparations,
And the
what I want
government
to see,
promised Black people reparations, and we are the only group of people that they reneged on that.
that's true. It's really sad. Like
We're
it's really
owed
weird,
it.
dude. But yeah, I do believe that. But what this is what I want to say. I don't really think they're ever going to give us our reparations, and I don't think that they need to. I just think if like because I'm in real estate, I just cannot believe how much money I make people, and a lot of Latinos. I have a lot of Latino clients. I don't see enough Black people buying houses, and that's why I think it's really sad because there's so much money to make. For instance, last year, not last year, 2 years ago, a mixed rep, a couple actually, a Black guy married to a white girl, came into my office, and they couldn't even afford they couldn't, well, no, they could afford a rental, but their credit was shot, which is another problem in the Black community. Um, they had poor credit, the both of them. I couldn't even get them a rental. It's crazy. Anyways, they ended up getting pregnant, and there are ways around it. If you put a bigger deposit down, the banks will give you money for some reason. Anyways, they ended up getting pregnant, and the white lady, my client, her mother ended up giving her $100,000, and they bought a house. They were able to move forward with buying a house. Do you know? 2 years later, they have two kids. They asked me to list their house this year. I sold it for 100,000 more than I sold it than they bought it for. So they're $100,000 richer. This was a family that couldn't even buy a rental, and now they're $100,000 rich. They sold their house and they're living in Florida. Okay, so doing things like that will help people get money without reparations. Investing in real estate is one of the best ways you can come up quick in this
But
country within
as a
two
real
years.
estate agent, I'm sure you're aware you have a lot of housing properties that are getting bought up now just so they can be turned into rentals. So that makes it
Yes,
harder for
yes,
people to even buy a house. Like I live in
that's true.
South Florida. South Florida, there's no real houses that are available where I live, and you have to go out really far up in South Florida, and
So it
even
does
still
matter where
have
you
an
live. Listen,
extremely
yes, but
like
I
the
have a
only things that
solution.
are realistically available are condos.
Okay, but
There's
listen, you
no
can
real
do.
houses that are
Okay,
available.
I understand that. I'm from a city called Waikiki. Okay, you can't even get nothing, no houses. Actually, that's why I loved living in Connecticut because this is an old state with lots of colonials. It's so awesome living here because of all the opportunities for housing. But listen, this is why I really am against Black people renting because so many people make money off of the rents. You guys have no idea. Section 8, that you can go up to like 1,800 bucks for a three family home. That's a guaranteed check.
No, I
Okay.
live in the I live in the very south of South
Oh, you
Florida.
live in the good part. Okay, but listen,
Eh.
um, you could still get a condo and still make money.
Yep.
We're not, okay? Now you might take you a little bit longer. You might not get $100,000 on a flip of a condo, but you might get 20 or 30,000, right? But this is why black people really need to understand that we need to start considering on where we're living. Do you know a lot of people in college live in New Haven County, New Haven in Connecticut, because Yale University is right in the middle. Yale feels. You guys heard of Yale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I would hope
literally
so.
covers the town of New Haven. And most kids that live in New Haven, they live in these like a community type style condos. I mean, if you get any multifamily like that and invest in it, you're going to make money. And you don't only have to invest in your town. You can invest anywhere if you got the cash. You could be in your town and own a house here in Connecticut and rent it out. A lot of people do town. You can invest anywhere if you got the cash. You could be in your town and own a house here in Connecticut and rent it out. A lot of people do that. So my problem is education of how to invest your money is very much needed. Could you imagine, why are you in the streets risking your life dealing with gun violence? I would love to go to little black boys and say, why would you risk your life for a few dollars when you could just put your money in together with your homies and flip little condos first, or maybe buy. Do you know you could just make money by buying land? Land is so cheap. I sold a piece of land for $10,000. All you gotta do is take that piece of land, put it back on the market, and sell it for maybe $5,000 more. You got $5,000. There's so many ways to make money in real estate. It's not even funny. You can invest in rents. You can invest. You can even do subleasing. When I was a single mom, I literally lived rent free. I rented out a room in one of my houses. As long as you get your landlord's permission, you could sublease. You could pay your rent and rent out rooms in your house. I mean, I don't recommend it, but it's a way to make money
Again,
without paying rent.
it goes back to culture. Yeah.
There's so many
Like
ways to make
like
money.
like
And wait, hold
like
on.
you
You know,
said,
Latino
can
people.
I say one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like you said, you had Asians who were disciplined and focused on educations. You said, black people, they kind of put up a front. Latinos, I mean, I'm gonna say this for Latinos in this country, we have a work ethic. Yeah, when we do a job, we do it right, and we do it well, and we do it fast because we want to get that money. We want to get the job done. We want to get more jobs out of it. I mean,
Yeah, but what kind of jobs do you guys do? That's very important.
we do
A lot of
landscaping jobs,
exactly
basic, I
entrepreneur
mean,
jobs that black people don't want to
stuff
do.
that doesn't really need higher education, but we're willing to do the job and really and do a good job at it, save our money, take care of our families, build generational wealth, and that's how you see so many Latinos in the past like 30 years are homeowners now. Ones that came from this country with nothing are able to work their ass off and become homeowners compared to people who are born in this country who speak the language and just keep coming up with excuses. And that's what I'm so sick and tired of it. Excuses. Oh, well, we had this happen in the past. What do you want? What do you want done now? What you Well, you have your future ahead of you. You got to put into work now. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
That's why I'm just afraid that all of these
Some Mexicans
excuses
are
that we
lazy.
make,
Don't go there.
all these,
Wow.
listen, I
This
think
guy.
that Latinos like Mexicans come here and they do a lot of under the table jobs, but you guys just don't understand. Like landscaping, for instance, and even housekeeping. I used to work at the Marriotts. There were so many housekeepers that were Latino, and Filipinos. Like I love the comedian Joe Coy. He talks about there are so many Filipino women that are nurses. Listen, I understand that black women also work hard, and I know that we got our things. But my thing is, we need to just be a part of the change and stop making excuses, making sure
Yep.
our kids. Do you know I'm an African American woman? You don't get no more black than me. Let me tell you something. My son, my soon to be husband, we're engaged. He works as a correctional officer. I make him pay $700 a month for my son to go to Catholic school because basically I would not allow the elementary school, which is down the street from my house. I talked to people. They said it has a bad stigma. We've been here for 6 years. We bought our house. I would not let my son go to that school because of what people, they have stigmas. And I feel horrible, but I care about my son's education. So I invest in his education. And he goes to, he's the only mixed little boy in that school. But that's okay. Actually, I think I saw one other black kid. But that's so sad to me. It's like, why aren't more black people investing in their kids' education?
Yep,
I drive
exactly.
2 towns
I gotta head
over.
out.
Okay, bye. It
Yeah.
was good talking to you. Definitely like talking to him. But I'm just saying, like, it's definitely hurting our family financially. Like, we're thinking about moving closer to the town that we like because of the schools. White people live next to good schools. I'm telling you, black people don't really do that.
because they've had the opportunities to be able to afford it because
That's
they have
true.
created the laws to make sure that they get the advantage,
Right, that's
the
true.
financial
But they're
advantage.
not, but
They,
sis, they're not going to help us. So what are we going to do to ensure that our schools have the same.
oh wait, you kind of cut off. No, I can't hear you. No, I cannot hear
Hear
you.
me? Okay,
Okay,
now you can
okay,
hear me.
now it
Somebody
kind of.
just tried to call, probably a collector. But let me tell you this: like I have like gone without paying a bill or suffered financially because I have literally invested in my kid. All my kids have straight A's. Like they all go to good schools. Like because that's like a priority.
Okay, so I actually have a way for more black schools to get better funding.
Okay,
And my solution is to stop having it run on local taxes and have it exclusively funded through federal taxes.
that's a solution.
Because here's the thing that nobody really talks about with local taxes. White kids who live in cul-de-sac areas and suburb areas, yes, they have better schools because their houses are 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 oh my God, what is the word?
More
Valued.
desi-
They're valued
more
higher.
desirable for sure.
They are valued at a higher price while cities are not. But that's the
Right.
thing. Those areas are less densely populated. And so they technically would not even bring in enough money. So in reality, those inner city kids, they're subsidizing the cul-de-sac, they're subsidizing the cul-de-sac children because you have because if you have like a 200 you have like a 200 square foot apartment complex that's gonna have way more people in it than you would in a cul-de-sac area. So the tax revenue so despite the fact that area is considered less valuable because there's more people that live there, they're technically bringing in more money and they're subsidizing those children in the better schools. And a way to fix that would be to stop relying on state and local taxes and just have it be federally funded and have the money distributed and more evenly per child.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I didn't know that, and I love it. That is a solution that needs to be shared with the world. So I'm going to share this on YouTube. Please go there and just make a comment so that people can know that it's you and reach you. I think if I could, I would love to be able to invest in people like you, like because I know that you mean well, and I feel so horrible saying what I see and what I've witnessed and what I've experienced, which isn't really good. But if we could make that incentive for Black people, I like Donald. They say saying Donald Trump has gave all this money to Black colleges, but that's not what I want. I want
And
our
it's not even
elementary
true.
school.
He actually lowered it because
He
Obama he
did.
actually lowered it. He lowered it because
They love
Obama
saying
had
that.
1.5 billion dollars for HBCUs. Trump lowered it to 250 billion and then Biden raised it to 2 billion to $2 billion, which the thing is I'm still pissed about that because he promised 40 billion.
Right. But my problem is like, why did he give it to HBCUs? Obviously, if I mean, it's good to have historical Black colleges, but my thing is, I think the root needs to start in elementary school and middle school and
That is
high
a lie. He
school.
did not give more. He did not give more over. How the fuck is he going to give more over the course of 10 years when he was here for 4?
Yeah, I really want to talk to you about
The
that.
math ain't
Maybe
mathing.
another, maybe tomorrow, maybe another day, because I do have to go. I only got like maybe 5 more minutes because I've been so tired debating. I don't know if you
That
guys
is
ever
also
do
true.
that.
Joe Manchin, people like Joe Manchin did stop the 40 billion
I want to talk about
because
that
it got
on.
because HBCUs they get thrown under the bus because it was promised, and then people like him fucked up the deal and are fucking
Right.
up the current deal with the Build Back Better plan.
We gotta dig deep into that for
I
real.
hope this man
Like,
lose. I hope Joe Manchin loses his goddamn seat to a 30-year-old progressive. I really do.
so that is something trending. Oh, I want to talk about that too. What the hell is going on? Can you just give me a real quick thing, and then I have to go to bed because I haven't been able to function lately. I've been up too late, debating with
I
everybody
will
because
try
this is
my
so much
best.
fun. Yeah, what's going on with that before I go?
Joe Manchin is a Democrat in name only. He is basically a Republican in sheep's clothing. That's all he is.
I'm sorry, Thomas, I think was trying to get in. I was gonna let this is the last person for sure. But can you please explain to me? I'm sorry, real quick. Can you please explain to me what's going on with that? Because I'm not 100% on top
Joe
of that. What's
Manchin
going on
is
with that?
a
Joe
Democrat
Manchin,
in
right?
name
Joe
only.
Manchin. Joe Manchin is a Democrat in where?
West
He is
Virginia.
a Democrat in name
West
only.
Virginia. Okay, and what is he doing and why is he trending?
He's blocking basically every fucking bill. Like because the Democrats like have like a 50-50 split in the Senate, they don't need the full majority vote. Not Joe Manchin and someone else, I can't remember their name. They blocked getting rid of the filibuster, which would help greatly because after that, if the filibuster didn't exist, you would just need 50% of the vote to like pass anything versus like 60% depending on the bill.
All right, but
But he's
filibuster's
blocked
been around since the beginning of our Constitution. It's a way to
the
slow
the
down
filibuster
government.
was rarely ever used before the Civil War though, and then they started using it more and more, and then civil rights came around, and then they started using it more and more and more, and then it
But
just became more of a
what comes
thing.
of what comes from a filibuster? Nothing, right? Am I not mistaken? Aren't filibusters when Majority Taylor Greene is just sitting there talking and just trying to stop or prolong something from happening?
It's basically designed to speak
For
unlimited
time.
time to
Right.
to get to the point where hopefully if you're trying to block it, whatever it is, on one side or
Right.
another, that people could just give up on it.
It's
Right.
yeah, it's basically there just to
Right.
burn everyone's time.
Right. So,
But
like for
everyone's used
instance,
it.
yeah, go ahead. So, like a
But the thing is,
filibuster.
the
Yeah,
thing is,
go
up
ahead.
until the civil rights movement, it was rarely ever used. And when civil rights became a thing, it just became more of a thing that Republicans started using.
Well, everyone's used it.
Yeah, everyone
It's not
has used
just
it, but
Republicans.
Republicans have
Democrats use
have
it too.
overused it over the last couple of decades.
And so
Yeah, but
has
it doesn't really
Democrats.
do anything. It just prolongs something that's being
Right. It
passed.
prolongs it and sometimes it stops it.
Yeah, and it's
But
just like,
it's
but that's
part of
how
our tradition.
That's why Majority
It
Taylor
just because
Greene,
it's a
she did a
tradition doesn't mean it
filibuster
can
about
stay
the
there.
BLM versus January 6th insurrection. It's just, it really brings out people's true characters as far as she's a congresswoman and deciding to tear down the BLM and try to, like, that's what I felt was really racist. And it didn't even do anything. It just, like Lauren Boebert, they go, and I know Democrats do it too, but they, like the AOC, I think she just had a filibuster where she went
Yeah.
and talked for a while and went off about certain things on a tangent. To me, it's like I really think we need to get rid of them. To be honest, like.
But Joe
But
Manchin,
anyways, let's talk about
he's
this Joe
basically
Manchin guy. He's trending right now. Joe Manchin, Senator Joe Manchin, suggests child tax credit payments
because
would
he
be
doesn't
used to
want
buy
to vote for
drugs.
the Build Back Better plan.
Well, there's a
That's
lot of things
disgusting.
wrong with the Build Back Better plan where it's just going to spend tons of money that's going to make our inflation even worse than it already is now. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
But
we
even
need it.
if the money that is getting spent has been proven that it would help Americans, especially the poorest of Americans, like helping invest in our infrastructure, helping invest in national broadband, which millions of Americans do
oh,
not have proper access to
only
broadband
like
internet, and they need that because
Right, and
because
they're not
even
even
because
giving us that much.
most
20
of
years
it
ago, we were being
has
told,
nothing to
oh,
do
you're
with
not going to need the
infrastructure.
internet for everything. We
Can I
do
Most
need
of
it for
that,
most things now.
can I just
most of
say
it doesn't
this?
have anything to do
He's
with
not giving.
infrastructure.
Can I just say this? How is it? It's our money. It's our
We
money.
haven't even made the money yet. The
But
money
we're
doesn't even
going
exist
to,
yet.
and they usually take it.
But the hypocrisy with Joe Manchin and saying that, oh, it's just going to increase our inflation. He was perfectly fine with approving the $738 billion military budget, despite us ending a 20-year war. Why he was fine with approving that, but he has a problem with this spending bill that's actually going to improve the lives of Americans that are here. It's hypocritical.
Well, not necessarily, because you're talking about $700 billion to protect the nation from Russia,
Protect them
China,
from what? 700. We could literally cut the budget by 2/3 and still spend billions more than China. That's not enough to protect us? Really?
No, it's
Why?
not.
What is China doing that is such a massive threat to our national security right now? What is it doing?
We spend so much money on development research, and China steals it all. So now they
The
have
proof of that is where?
it's. You can look at their jets. They have technology that's stole from us. It's a oh geez. It's everywhere. You even look at their new machine guns that they just developed. Looks just like our AR-15.
And yet they're able to do this with only a quarter of what we spend on the military. Then someone's mismanaging some money somewhere.
Well, you also have to understand that it's so much cheaper to build stuff in China than it is in America. The cost of doing research in China is much lower, and that they also steal half of our technology.
Again, if they're able to steal so much of our technology with a quarter of the military budget that we spend, someone is not doing their job properly.
And yeah, clearly no, but clearly they're not doing it. They can't even budget the freaking deficit. Like, where's all the money going?
Well, it's going in the politician's pocket is where it's going.
Of course. And that's exactly, and we know it. There's no, you know how much Bernie Sanders is worth? I couldn't believe this last year. I thought Bernie Sanders was broke in New York somewhere in a 300 square foot cinder block. He's worth millions.
He's like
because he had a very successful book that sold very well.
Socialists using money to promote their ideas.
Yeah, but I love Bernie though. He has fought for our, he has done a lot. But is he worth millions? Why is he worth millions like that?
Because he had a very successful book. That's why.
And how about these pastors they're tax free? Did you guys see that that pastor who built? He said God told him to build. Let me get his name. What's his name?
Copeland.
Yeah, pastor.
Kenneth Copeland.
Tax free house. Let me see if I can find it.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Copelands.
Yeah, the Copeland. How do you spell
Copeland.
that?
Kenneth Copeland.
Copeland.
Yeah,
Copeland.
he's a heretic.
I mean, he's a crook. I think
he is a crook.
Why does he have so much money? I
am 100% with taxing mega churches.
Like,
I'm fine with that.
Like,
I'm a Christian, right? But as Kenneth Copeland, to me, he's a heretic. He doesn't possess the qualities I would consider would be I'm so tired right now.
Oh, you are. Well, you must be on the East Coast because I'm getting tired too. I'm definitely going to have to wrap this up. Yeah, this is his name. America's richest pastor avoids $150,000 in annual taxes on a $7 million Texas mansion. Kenneth Copeland. This guy. How do you get that much money? He's clearly taking the money from the church.
Yeah, because he gained the system. Like his own, he registers his house as part of his church and whatever, so he doesn't have to pay taxes on that shit either.
I've been to a mega church that had like 4,000 members, and he has been there. Okay, I since left that church. I go to a much smaller church that's very well mixed. Because I'm a white guy.
Christian of you.
And my wife is she's Black Cherokee and white.
Wow.
You know.
She's supposed to be pretty.
So she is very pretty.
Yeah.
And so we went to this church because it was mixed, and um, but like a third of the people in that church were mixed relations like us. So we fit, right at home. But this other church I went to, it was all about money.
Yeah.
The pastor that I was with, that was at that mega church, had all kinds of cars he stored at the church. It was just a sham where he just talks a big game and milks people and tries to guilt you into giving you your money.
Right.
You
And
know,
so my point
and
is
that's not
this:
what Christianity is about.
no, it's not. And I agree. I love going to church, though. I do think that they should be able to be successful just like any other business. They just work for God. But when you are making that much money and people in your church are hurting, that $150,000, instead of not allowing them to be to taxed, why don't he take that $150,000 and give it to the people in the church
Well,
that maybe could, you know what I'm
Copeland is
saying?
Copeland is the absolute worst. It was I'm pretty sure it was him, or if it wasn't him, it was another mega church person. But I'm pretty sure it was him that during the hurricane Texas had and the flooding, he closed his goddamn church. He would not let
Right.
anybody in.
Joel Osteen.
Joel
Oh my
Osteen, yeah,
Joel
God.
Osteen, that was it.
Listen, I love
and
his
he's another
positivity.
shenanigan.
Right, listen, I really want him to be successful. He's so positive. One day I will read his book as soon as I get this app because I really think I have adult ADHD. I don't know if I do, but I think I do. And there's this app. Do you guys know there's this app you could buy that you could take a picture of the book or something like that? It like reads it for you. Anyway, I think he should be successful, but what I'm thinking is they're taking money from when they're taking all the tithing. Why do you need three, four, five tithing? Like
You
where's
don't.
this money going? So, but my point is this: I think politicians are doing the same thing,
Oh,
right? Because,
absolutely.
but
Oh
guess
yeah,
what?
absolutely.
Why the hell? Before I go, why is Donald Trump? Remember that when the election happened, everything had donations. Do you guys know this? Like, you guys know I'm from a city. I'm from Waikiki. Originally, I'm from Hawaii. It's a lot like New York City. You guys ever see street performers?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Street performers are it's illegal for them to accept money, ask for money, but it's acceptable if they get donations. Do you want to know why? You ever see those people doing street
Mine.
performers? Yeah, they can get donations, and guess what they can do with that money? Anything they want. So soliciting is illegal, but getting donations is not illegal. So they can do whatever they want with that money. Our politicians can use the money because they're getting donations. Do me a favor, next time you see a politician campaigning, you'll see it. It's called donations
Right.
specifically. And that means that they could use that money, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong?
Look, one
No,
of
you're
the
right.
reasons why Trump was so bad was because he took advantage of a lot of traditions that were supposed that they were expect that former presidents were expected to follow to not profit off of their presidency. But the fact that it was just tradition and not like a rule or a law, he took advantage of that.
Right. So
Him and his whole
that's how
family
they
took
get
advantage
away.
of that.
That's how they get away with it. They call it
They
donations.
Democrats actually passed a bill earlier this week. I forget the name of the bill, but it's supposed to actually codify a bunch of these traditions into actual law now. The question of whether it will pass
It probably won't pass.
after, because it got through the House, but the question is, will it get through the Senate?
Every president since I was a kid has made money off of being a president. I'm 74. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Not
exactly. They
74. I'm
make money.
47.
So
I was born in
so
74.
my thing is this: if politicians can get donations, right, and make money, pastors can get donations and tax exemptions. Why can't the people?
Because we're the sheep.
It's our
We're the
money.
cattle.
What if, for once, the government gives us some benefits like that, right? And on an equal playing field. So it's not pertaining to just black people or white people. What if all Americans got an exemption for X amount of years? Tax exemptions can help. We don't want to spend that money. We want our money in our checks. Could you imagine all the people that work and get $1,500 every 2 weeks, and technically after taxes they only get like $1,000? That's a
Yeah.
few $100 that they could save and put towards a house.
Yeah.
You
And
know, that could be a solution. Or how about having some type of way where we can get donations? What if people state by state could have some type of ability to give donations? Like, you know, when you look on your check, you have like a state tax,
mhm.
whatever tax. What if there was a civilian tax in your state where that money goes to you at some point?
That sounds like universal basic income, what you're describing.
Well, no, it's a tax right.
But if you're saying the
Tax write
money
off.
goes to, but
It's a
if you're
credit.
saying
Why can't we get a credit for working for this freaking country, breaking our freaking backs for 30 freaking years? Me, I'm probably gonna be breaking my back until I die. My man right now is a correction officer until he's freaking 50. He's
because
33.
capitalism demands it squeeze all the productivity it can out of you until you
We
die.
need to change that.
I would absolutely love to change that because we're in the end stages of capitalism right now and it's not good.
Right. So that's what the Marxism thing is. That was really got taken out of hand. But all people were saying, as far as that ideology from Karl Marx, is that the proletariats and the bourgeoisie. That is a he's the most influential person in the world. If you guys learn about that dude, and I think he was racist, to be honest. I think he was racist, but look at the times. Okay, but if you think about his ideologies that he had, which was saying even back then, I mean, they didn't even consider black people freaking human. They thought we were a different species. They didn't even include us
Capitalism
in the.
got us to the top and you want to change that. Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I'm telling you that classism affects white people, but affects us all. And it's a freaking problem. Freaking, how does not Joe, excuse me, Jeff Bezos have so much freaking money, yet he's charging people $16 an hour, and he makes it really easy to work at Amazon. I almost worked there, horrible hours. I was like, nah, never mind.
Well, Jeff Bezos
But
is fascist, but you know.
$16 an hour, he's first worth billions. He has so much money that he got divorced and made his wife the most richest woman in the country.
Yeah. Like
That is
for
sick money.
uh, companies like Amazon, there is no excuse for their workers to not be making not only a living wage, but well above a living wage and being comfortable,
Well, those
I do
companies
like
are
like
that
too
he go
really
big.
ahead.
comfortable.
They're too big.
Yeah, they are too big, but that
If you're
means for
too
them
big
to
to
give
fail,
more
then you're
money.
too big to exist. And
Right.
I'm for capitalism, but I'm not for these giant corporations
Serial capitalism.
that that push out the small mom and pop stores.
Somebody
Uh,
said for packing boxes. Yeah, for packing boxes. Jeff Bezos ain't packing boxes. He's packing
Please stand on your
checks.
feet for 16 hours a day and having everything about your workday being time, including your bathroom breaks to the point where you have to piss in bottles.
This is what we have to
yeah,
do,
that's
people in
gross.
America. We got to stop fighting with each other. Instead of white people specifically attacking black people for making the excuses, why don't we educate each other like how we've been doing tonight and saying, listen, I'm sorry, having some empathy. I swear to God, I don't even want reparations. I just want white people to
I
acknowledge
do.
what my great grandparents had to go through. That my great grandmother raised me. She used to tell me, like, in Texas, she had arthritis, and she used to tell me how horrible it was working for freaking nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want white people to, instead of worrying about our CRT and worrying about all these things, why don't we just have more empathy? Stop calling us freaking victims. Stop freaking bashing us for things that have happened and still happen to us, and become an ally for things for us. White people know how to use money. They know what to do with money. Let me tell you something. The smartest thing I've ever seen, real quick. You know that white guy that went famous on TikTok? He's like a transvestite, and he was listening to Shania Twain, and he was in the back. Did you guys see that? And
No,
he's
I'll look
basically
for it.
he was in like a really bummy house. It looked like a everybody thought that he was like a serial killer because it looked like that bad of a house. Well, it turned out after everybody bullied him, he had just bought, well, he or she, more so she, um, yeah, had just bought a trailer or a house for, like, it wasn't a trailer, it looked like a trailer, it was a freaking dump, it looked like a freaking something from Chainsaw Massacre, but he had just bought it cash and he was going to flip it himself.
Yeah.
That's smart money. I'm telling you right now, trailer parks are the best thing that ever happened to white people. People be, okay, I'm closing it right now. People be talking about, my fiance has to work in the morning. People be talking about white people in trailer parks. Black people need to be in trailer parks. You don't know that they own their property? Well, they don't own the property, but they own
On the
ownership in the
building.
property
Yeah.
and cooperatives and things like that. I'm telling you, instead of bashing black people, why don't more white people, there's 72% of you guys in this country, go to our communities and start helping us be educated? How many financial advisors could make money in the black community instead of just worrying about white community who's for sure can be well to do? Yeah, it might be a little bit harder. Maybe we
Yeah.
have a lot more credit repair counseling. But if more white financial advisors went into black communities and educated the people on mortgages and things like that, like I'm about to be a broker. I was going to have my
Mhm.
office in a white neighborhood, but I'm thinking I should put my brokerage right in the middle of a black neighborhood. I'm kind of scared, but I'm going to do it. I think because I want to teach them that the redlining has been over and they can get a free. I can help them get mortgages.
Yeah, my in-laws ran a mortgage company for a very long time, and they were in Beverly, Chicago, which is it's right, it's a mixed neighborhood, but on one side it's black, and the other side it's white, but they're right in the middle. And because of the laws, they saw a jump of people trying to come in to get a mortgage, and they were losing money, so much money, because you had to, if they didn't have good credit, you had to pay to send them to a class. And after 6 months, if they try to get another loan, they would have to pay them again to go to another class, and they were losing so much money they actually had to close their doors. So
Right.
so it was almost like it was designed to force people out, so black folks won't have access to it.
Exactly.
And
And let
I
me tell
see
you
that a
something.
lot.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I
Yep. And
I grew up in
credit.
Chicago,
Yep.
far south side where corn grows, but my wife
Yeah.
is from Chicago, like in
Yeah.
the city.
Wow.
Um, but
Dangerous.
yeah, and when my kids were going to school, I see like the education system. They're not teaching kids. They don't have no expectations. So we actually moved out of Chicago to Evergreen Park so we can put them in a better school that would actually hold them more accountable, you
It's
know.
wonderful. And
And
that's what, and let me tell you something. When you said credit, that is what gets in a lot of people's way in buying a house.
oh,
And guess
absolutely.
what? And guess what they did? Right now, it's been great in real estate. I really slowed down this winter, but this was the best. They said real estate has not been this great in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
That's how much that's how much the banks are giving mortgages. This was the year for everybody freaking, if you're going to not buy a house, to invest in income driven property. But guess what? They raised the credit standards. Last year, I swear to God, if you had a credit of 580, you could get a house. Okay, you probably have a higher interest rate, but you could get a house, especially if it's like 610, 620.
Like an FHA.
That's like yeah, you can get an FHA with 580, and that's not good credit. That's bad
No.
credit. You could get a house. You can't get a house right now with 580. They want you to have at least 650, or the lowest would be probably like 630. So why would they raise the credit standards in a time where the banks are giving out mortgages? Who do you think that's going to hurt more so than any other race?
Well, poor people, the
Poor
poorest among
people.
us.
Exactly. And it's not that it's going to not affect white people. Of course it's going to affect white people, but it disproportionately affects black
Disproportionate.
people
Exactly.
because
I agree.
because of our systemic problems. So the government knows what they're doing. So if black people can stop complaining and just be good with our money, as far as just being responsible, you don't even need a lot of money. But if you have credit, you could do a lot of things in this country. And
Yeah.
that's when American dreams start to happen. You know what you can do with a credit? You can buy a house, you can open a
Hmm.
business, you can borrow money. They can even
Yeah.
give you cash. There's even ways that they can give you freaking cash and the quick money loan lending and flip houses. There's so much you can do with just having good credit. But a lot of black people don't have good credit, including myself. I'm working on it right now though. My fiance, he's white as hell. He's got great credit and he's cheap. But guess what? I like to spend money. He's cheap. He's frugal. He will tell you every day he's broke.
I I like to spend money, but my wife is very frugal, so we're a good match.
Oh, well, there you go. All right,
My phone's
but
dying, so I'm gonna
okay,
go.
and I'm about to go too. But listen, sis, I'm a fan. I think you're super smart. I learned a lot from you. I hope you still come back. Listen, if I'm wrong about something, please educate me because I'm all ears. I want to listen and I want to learn.
Next
Okay.
time we'll talk about guns because
Oh,
I
that's all
like
we
you.
talk
I
about on
like
my
you a
show.
lot.
That's all we
I
talk
like you.
about.
And what you said about your husband, he does
Yeah.
that for you because he's a good man.
Yeah, thank you. That's right. That's right.
So
Because he definitely don't see color, and I don't see color when I'm about to cuddle with him right now. Okay. Bye, guys. Yeah, come back. Come back. All right.
I will.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.